Come on in, come on in, come on. We just giving a couple of moments to be able for y'all to come on in and giving it enough time to come on in. We are so excited, y'all. I'm so excited. I'm a little extra. Y'all know I'm a little extra. Hey, Auntie. Y'all know y'all learning with me. I'm moving and learning. I'm moving and learning with y'all to be able to see all of the comments and all of the things. Okay, so we learning together as we go. Hey, Brandy, Nicole, how you doing? We are so excited, y'all. Tune in. We got a couple of more minutes that we're gonna wait. We are so excited for y'all joining us tonight. Okay, I see Konisha. She's waiting in the back. Okay. So y'all come on in and join us, y'all. We appreciate y'all coming on in. We have something great, something special going on tonight that Konisha is going to share her story with us. So come on in, y'all. I'm just writing some things down, y'all. Hey, everybody. Hey, Evangelist Roslyn. Hey, Auntie. Yeah, we do. We do. Roslyn is so funny. She's just hilarious. And I always tell her, Evangelist Roslyn, she don't even be trying to be funny, and she is just so hilarious, y'all. I'm gonna work through some of the. Okay. How do we? No, I don't. Okay. Okay, here we go. Thank y'all for tuning back in to Soaring Above It All with Laquanza, who is me. Tonight we have somebody great, somebody special. And again, I want to tell you, the Soaring Above It All is the statement that no matter what you go through and no matter what you face, that you can come out of it on the other side. You can come out on it on the side of grace. You can come out on it on the side of mercy. It does not matter whatever it is, y'all. And whatever it is, you can come out on the other side. Some people think that you experience things, and when you experience them, that nobody else can relate to what it is that you've been through or what you have endured. But we are here on Soaring Above It All with Laquanza, stating that this is the things that I have faced. These are the things that I have been through. And look, if I can come through it, you can do the same too, y'all. You can do the same too. And again, make sure we are loving on each other and make sure that we are encouraging each other along the way, y'all. We need each other. We need each other, y'all. We need each other. We need love and encouragement. There's so many things that is going on in the world right now that we just need each other. We need encouragement. We need love. We need inspiration, and everything. So we're not even gonna hold this up tonight. We will be talking about the strength of a woman. And surely, when I began to talk to Konisha a couple of weeks ago, we was just having a conversation, and we cut up so bad one night, y'all. It was late. We was cutting up. Well, maybe she was cutting up, and I was entertaining the cut up, so we cut up together a little bit more. And I began to listen to her story, and I began to listen to the things that she have endured, and I was inspired. I was inspired because it lets you know that the strength of a woman has so much power. What you have been through, what you have endured, what you have overcome, is that you are at this place now, but still, despite of the challenges that you had, you still kept going. Even though it was hard for you at times, you still kept facing them. And I was like, we're going to have to talk about this. We're going to have to talk about this. So we will be talking about also what is endometriosis. And I'm going to let her tell everything about that as we go in. But for right now, come on in the comment section. We got to get a little a round of applause. A round of applause in the drum roll. We are going to invite Konisha Harris into the building right now. Come on, y'all. Woo!
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? I just want to say hey to everybody in the chat. Roz, I love you. Brandy, I love you. Hey, Charmel. Hey, Tanika. So,
yes.
You want me to introduce myself now?
Hold on, I gotta get you. You trying to leave me? Hold on, wait a minute. We're gonna get into it. So tonight we have Konisha Harris, as we have said, and yes, we want you to tell us who you are.
Okay. Well, I am Konisha Harris. I am 38 years old, mother of one, Ella Sloan, and I am the owner of the Hair Vixens and Hers Candle as well. I have a baby that I haven't released yet called Black XL. And I am a endometriosis survivor. We're going to claim that and we're going to speak it into existence.
Yeah.
So that's me. I've been doing hair since 2008. Well, I was licensed since 2008. Been doing hair since I was 12. I found out I had endometriosis when I was about 19. But we'll get into
we're gonna get into that. Yeah,
we'll get into the endometriosis story later. But I'm Konisha. One, happy about that one.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Happy about that one.
So thank you for introducing yourself and telling us more about who you are. And again, we want to know what is something, before we even jump into the questions, I got to do like a icebreaker. Okay. What is something that you love to do for fun?
I love watching water. Like waterfalls, sitting by a river. I love to see nature and love watching water.
Oh, wow. Has that always been an interest for you, or did it just, oh, wow. So even when you were a kid, you still love nature?
When I was younger, when I would feel myself like getting stressed or something, I would just go somewhere where it was water and sit and write.
Oh, wow. Oh, I know that was very, very relaxing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I know that's very, very relaxing, because there is a calmness and a peace near water. It's just even this was like a long time ago when I used to go to the waterfall and just literally write, because it was just something that was soothing about it, that creates a flow in you that you could just get lost while just listening to that water. So I can understand that. And so was it somebody told you, or was it just?
I just naturally always like water.
Mm.
Yep.
Ain't that something?
Hmm.
I think that's amazing. I just think that's amazing. So, do you like to do anything else in nature? Like,
I done got kind of lazy, but I
mm,
used to like to hike. I used to like to hike.
what?
When I used to run, I used to like to run.
Oh
But we'll
wow!
talk about why I don't run no more and all of that later on.
So, let me ask a question. So, when you were hiking, what were the places that you went to the hike?
I literally would just Google waterfalls near me and be in the North
Mm.
Carolina mountains, like different ones. Table Rock, Caesar Head. It's another waterfall that's like off in the cut. It looked like you going into a neighborhood in the mountains, but it's like this gorgeous waterfall and
Oh,
trail. And that one isn't like a long hike to get to, but it's gorgeous.
oh wow! So did that just it just what does hiking do for you?
It's a sense of peace.
Okay,
Same.
okay,
Peace.
okay.
And then it's kind of like a challenge if you go on a longer hike. So it's like overcoming a challenge and just reassuring yourself that you can keep going.
Oh wow! See, ain't
Like,
that
one of my
amazing?
favorite sayings is from Dory to just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. Like that's me.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with
Yeah.
it. Keep going and keep
Yeah.
going.
Got to.
Okay. So do you like to swim too? Or you just okay, you do.
I'm all around water, baby.
You're right. Say, I got a cousin that's like that. Like she loves to get in the water, and like this is the craziest thing. She would always say, let me get Jalen so I can go to the swimming pool. Cause she was like, I don't want to be like a creepo and go to the swimming pool. I'm a grown person. And I'm, I'm like, really? You're gonna go to the pool and go to the pool and you're gonna forget about my baby? My baby gotta be watched too while you out there having fun.
You got to be on guard with the kiddos because they
Yeah,
just so fearless. They'll just jump in like they can swim or something.
I'm trying to tell you, dive right in, head first.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So, as we got into that, we're going to get on into more of the discussion. And we still want to talk about who you are, but we want to talk about what are some of your memories, even as a young lady, that you can bring out for us.
Good or bad?
Either however you want to go, I'm flowing with you.
um. Well, I had a complex childhood. A lot of people, some people know that like was really close to the family. So when I was younger, my mom, I don't want to tell too much of a story in case she come on here with you, but my mom was like in the streets. So my mom and dad both was in the streets and sold drugs or whatever. So my grandmother, my mom's mom passed away when I was 2, and my mom sent me to live with my auntie, which was my daddy's sister.
Okay.
And so they raised me from 2 years old till I was about 9, going on 10 years old. And then I moved back with my mom. So luckily, I was in a good household, like in a good loving household and stuff like that. And then when I moved back home, it was like shell shock because my mom was like in Pentecostal holiness church when I moved back. So
You
went from my grandmother lived in the house of my aunt. My dad's mom always lived in the house of my aunt. And so we went to church every Sunday, but it wasn't the same time.
You said this was far from the same thing.
It was way different.
So how was it like how was the change? Like was it like a
It was
drastic
drastic
change? Yeah.
because I went from dressing like what I felt like was a normal kid to now I got to wear skirts down to my ankles, and I was a tomboy. I like to treat and stuff. I had to change living situations, which not until I got a little bit older did I realize how drastic that was for me. Like I still remember my aunt picking me up from school with like black trash bags in the car and taking me to my mom. Like it was drastic, to the point to where I still remember the whole entire day that she
So
took
how
me back home.
oh wow. So can you bring out some of those emotions that you felt in that moment?
I think I felt scared. a part of me was like, what's going on? Like, what's going to happen? It's like the fear of the unknown type of
Oh
situation.
yeah.
And when I talked to my aunt about it, she said I cried to go back home with my mama. Like I wanted to go back home with my
Oh,
mama.
okay.
But for me at that moment, it felt like that's a whole life change.
Oh
And I
yeah.
don't think um you really understand the emotions at the time.
Hmm.
But now, like me being older and wanting to check on my mental health and deal
Yeah.
with like doing the healing and deliverance counseling with Pastor Robin, Pastor Robin, um, I really start to look because I disconnect from the emotion.
Oh
And
wow.
so we were talking about in our counseling, like, what do you think has made you suppress?
Hmm.
And you have to go all the way back.
You do. You really do.
So it went like I didn't feel like I had a voice. I didn't feel like I was able to express because back how we was raised, like young kids wasn't
Hmm.
able to express like this
Mm-mm.
feels weird or I don't like how this feels. So I felt like in my adult life now I suppress. Like I can talk about my whole life story and everything that's ever happened and not shed a tear.
Oh
But
wow.
that's
Okay.
still an issue. That's an
Yeah.
issue because it should
Mhm.
be some emotion that connects. Um, so I just remember that day being very traumatic for me. My
Mhm.
mom and my aunt are very different in parenting styles.
Mhm.
So my mom was more strict. My mom had been through more in life,
Mhm.
as far as like what she had seen too. And she was a scared single mama, of two.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, but it's crazy because like I remember it being drastic, but then I remember my church family becoming like my new family and being so close to them because my mom best friend stayed like in the same neighborhood, a couple doors down.
Oh
So I
wow.
grew up in church with became like family to me. Like Ella's God's parents is my mom's best friend at the time, Bertha. Her son is Ella's goddaddy, and his wife is Ella's
Oh
godmom.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's so funny how God worked because you might be placed in a situation of where everything is scary, but then you realize like He gave me a village though.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like I gained two mamas and two daddies.
Oh
Like yeah.
wow.
So I called my aunt, auntie mama. I called my uncle Papa Bo. So it's just like
Mhm.
I gained. My mama gained extra help, and I gained extra help too.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Okay. So that's amazing that you still had the extra, well, parents, more parents. That's so it's
yeah,
like having more parents to be
yeah.
able to love on you and to be able to, take care of you. So I had wanted to ask a question. So I know you talked about the suppressing.
hmm
So and surely I guess maybe when we be so young, you don't really ever understand all of the emotions that come. It's like surely you might feel something, but to actually pinpoint it,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like the child that gets in trouble. Like I remember when I was in elementary and middle school, I got into a lot of trouble. But in high school, I didn't get in no trouble. It was weird. It's like I went the opposite. Like I was bad first, and then I went on the good and straight and narrow
oh,
walk.
for real?
Yeah, because I fought a lot in elementary, and it's probably because I had these emotions that I didn't understand and didn't know what to do with.
And
I
that,
also started my cycle really early at 20
well,
years old.
so you okay? So you said you started fighting. So you started fighting when before you got with your mom, or before you got with your mom? Was that just? Do you think that that might?
I remember my aunt like telling my uncle to be nicer or to have more patience with me because of what I was going through. And I remember thinking, like, what am I going through? Like I remember the conversations, like some of the
Yeah.
conversations, and I'm like, but what am I? But yeah, I was mean. Like I was mean. I
Mhm.
I didn't like boys at all. I remember I used to fight boys more than girls. And I don't know. I just always was in trouble when I was little.
You
Even
can't.
though I was a good kid, like at home, I would clean
Mhm.
up. I'm gonna do exactly what I'm told to do. But at school, I was fighting.
Whoa. So you never got to, why was that so dramatic from home to school? Was the like, were you bullied or anything?
I was bullied more when I moved with my mom. When I moved with my mom,
Mm-hmm.
I think the trouble I got into before I moved with my mom was more me talking. Like I used to get in trouble for talking all the time. So when I moved with my mom, one of the things the lady used to tell me is like, if you feel like you want to talk a lot and you're going to disturb the class, just start drawing. And I had this one teacher, she couldn't stand me. Every time I would finish my work early because I was in private school before. And then when I
Mm-hmm.
moved back with my mom, I was in public school. So I would draw when I would finish my work, and the lady had a problem with that. So then I started getting in trouble for drawing in class. So
Wow.
then I started back talking.
Yeah, I mean, because I can't win for lose here.
Yeah.
So, oh wow.
But
So
when I
you,
came back with my mom, I got bullied. They used to call me white girl. They would call me Big Bird because I had a big head and big feet, and I was skinny.
oh wow.
And
Please be so cruel.
and they
They be
called
so cruel.
church girl because now I was wearing skirts down to my ankles.
Oh, you was wearing skirts down
When
to
I
your
moved
ankle.
back on my mama, yeah,
Oh, so you was holding this holiness.
Pentecostal, apostolic faith,
Oh
Christian.
my. So tell us a little bit more about that part right there, from going to one extreme to another extreme. Just so what was the history, church history of your aunt when
They
you
went to
we stayed?
Methodist. My
They
grandma
were,
went to a Methodist church. And my
oh
grandmother was like on the choir. She was on this group called the Crusaders. So they would go around and sing the different churches and stuff. I just dressed normal. I don't remember it being all these
oh,
rules
you're
like
right.
how it was with my mama. Like with my mama, it was like structure. Like, and my mama was head first, and
Oh
they
wow.
would celebrate Christmas, which my aunt was really big on. She didn't celebrate a lot. Like,
So from the church, but from the church she had went to,
mhm.
then that it was because surely she came from not being like that to, when you get
I felt
saved.
like she wanted to save herself out of whatever it was that she was going through.
Yeah.
I thank God for it because I definitely learned how to pray. I definitely learned how to anoint a house.
Yes.
I learned some really valuable skills. But I remember, like, I used to sneak and wear pants to school, and Bertha would snitch on me. My mama would be at work, and Bertha would be. I would be done forgot to change my pants before I got off that bus. And Bertha would see me get off that bus. I'm gonna tell your mom.
And that was your mama's best friend.
I would get a whooping every time. So I eventually just stopped trying to I stopped trying to wear the pants.
Okay, so so you had to.
I
Okay, so
changed houses and like everything about it was like everything changed.
oh wow. See, that's what I'm just listening to you and saying that. So it was like surely. And how old were you?
9.
9 years old, and as drastic as that was, from one environment to another environment, and then an environment to where you kind of just been like, more freer to go into, this that you can't do, which I know a lot of times. I guess when you first get saved and you get serious, like really saved, it's like you want to do everything so God will be pleased
I
with
feel
you.
like that's what where my mom was at. At
Mm-hmm.
9 years old, I
Yeah.
didn't understand. I didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
understanding. Um,
Yes, yeah. You would never be able to understand that, not that young, but now you understand that it was just her
I think
diving.
she was diving into it head
Mm-hmm.
first and
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be out of whatever situation she was in. So I get it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I get it now as an adult.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
when we was younger, me and my brother used to be like, we went to church every day except for Tuesday, y'all. I still know the church schedule.
Not
It
funny.
was Monday night prayer. Wednesday night service, Thursday night choir practice. My mom was on the choir too. She cooked for the church. They had Friday night service. Saturday is when they cook plates. So mama was there all day. And then Sunday service. I still
Oh,
remember.
wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my mama was like over the single parent. She was a missionary. She was a cook. She was doing everything.
Yes, it was, and you know that surely she had have endured a lot to go into a head first like that. It's like you really do, because I always wanted to be. I cut out all of these things in order to be pleasing to God, and I found out that in actuality it was a lot of religion. It was a lot of things that I thought that it was supposed to go that way, but God never said that for me.
I grew up hearing everything was the devil.
Yeah.
So it's so funny because some stuff I tell my mama she can't remember. Like, so I'll be like, "Well, you did."
I remember, but I think that's us, all of us as kids. You know, all of us as kids, because I guess they're growing, and I guess our parents are growing, and then we have to grow with them in the whatever stage they are growing in. We have to grow with them in this.
I think what we don't realize too, because now I'm thinking like I'm 38. I done made a lot of mistakes, and I had to go through those mistakes with me. You get what I'm saying? So like, when you're a child, it's like you see stuff happening, but you don't really get, like, they really don't know for real. Like, it ain't no manual to being a parent.
Nope, not at all. And no matter how many times we'll say, because I don't know about you, but I've been guilty of this. Like, I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. And found out that the things that I said that I wasn't going to do when I had a child, I did the exact same things, if not worse.
I say some of the same things that used to get on my nerves that my mom used to say.
You be like, you sound like your mammy. That's what you say. Yeah. So I guess it's just instilling into us, you know, what they believe is right. And surely what you just said, there's no manual. Nobody can do it in a perfect way, in a perfect system. If there is a perfect parent, please, somebody tell me. Because I don't think I have witnessed one yet. So is there anything else you want to tell us? Tell us about, like, even, okay, so you went from one extreme to another extreme and you're transitioning over. So outside of that, you said, well, how was school life from going to?
I fought almost every day that first 2 years with my mama.
With your mama?
Yeah, at school.
So was it like the private school?
You gotta think. I came into a neighborhood and it was the hood.
Oh, so you saying that? Oh, okay. I got you. So you're not just saying
private. Like I'm getting picked on by everybody. I had this one girl, she was real big and she was in the 8th grade when I was just coming in the elementary school and the middle school used to ride the same bus. And that girl would chase me home every single day.
You're right.
And I was dead scared of her. And my mama locked that screen door and told me, if you don't fight, I'm going to beat your tail. And
so you had to. Yeah, you had to.
But that's about the only girl I had issues with. The rest of them was little boys. They used to always. And then let them say something about my mama. They used to be fighting words with me.
What they used to say about your mama?
Call my mama the B word, anything. You say something about my mama. It's going down. So my mama would get so mad. She was like, they can't do the words. What was this? 6 stones can hurt my bones. But she used to always say that. And then she was like, you get in trouble again, I'm gonna whoop your tail. That's the only thing. I was scarier than my mama than I was the people outside. So
yeah.
Back me up. Not April, talking about not April. Brought me out, girl. Told me I better fight.
Hey, and I guarantee you that
she left me alone.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It always happens like that, because they say if you stand up to a bully, then and you have something back to say to them, that they can't bully you no more because they don't have that power over you.
I was like, that girl way bigger than me. I'm about to fight her. Can't catch me, I guarantee.
I'm not gonna go there with you. You said she couldn't catch you.
Can't catch me. Out of breath. By the time she got to the door, she was already tired. That's probably why she lost.
Duck and dive, hey.
There's circles around her. Like the Mayweather effect.
I know, Oh, I'm not fooling with you tonight. I'm not fooling with you tonight. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand. I understand very, very much. So tell us about like what were some of the other things that you experienced, because I'm thinking about how you went from a private school to basically you said the hood, right?
Yeah. One thing, and I'm gonna drop the name of the school just because I felt like it was so racist. So with the school that I was at when I came back home was Pelham Road Elementary.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just felt like my teacher felt like I wasn't smart. Like when I would turn in my test early, she would say I cheated. How I cheat? I'm the first one to turn the test in. If I got 100, she would try to make me write the zeros and the threes over, saying somebody didn't put their name on the paper, so it must be my test. Like the lady would do all kind of stuff, and I would try to explain it to my mama, and my mom was like, "You better go to school and do what that teacher say."
Mm-hmm.
You know, not realizing what I really was dealing with was this lady being intimidated by having a smart little black child in her class.
Mm-hmm.
It's very real, and it does happen.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, so I did deal with that a lot because you know when you're in private school or you done had a better educational system and you go to a different type of school, like you really a grade ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I just felt like back then our parents really didn't have the knowledge to, and my mom worked so much, it was like she didn't have time to come up there to the school and sit in the school and see what was going on for real.
Oh yeah. And you think something, you know what too? Because I had a kindergarten teacher that used to pitch me and slam me down in the chairs. And I went home and I told my mama, and you know, a kid telling a parent that it's like they did not believe, my mama didn't believe me because it's not believable that a teacher would actually do that. But and this was when I was in elementary school. Do you know, years later, it's a lady named Miss Tarbert. Miss Tarbert was our teacher. She was our black teacher. And then this lady was a white lady. I can remember her as clear as day. And she had told my mama years later, and I'd be telling my mama, like, this is what she did to me. The lady slammed me down in the chair and she pinches me all the time. And Miss Tarbert said, yes, she did. That is why they let her go, because I wasn't the only student that had complained about it. It was other students. So I do agree that there is teachers that do have it out for kids. And there is teachers that are rude, and there are teachers that are nasty. And like you said, you are a young black lady, but a smart young black lady. And they're probably just used to basically having kids that can barely get past this or barely get past that. And then
I used to have the same problems in like history class too, because I was always told black people didn't invent nothing.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Well, you know this, but I'm just saying, like, that was what I was told. So till this day, I still not like history. It's like my least favorite subject because I feel like I'm forced to learn American history. I'm forced to see how slaves was done and stuff like that, but you won't give me the true African history. You won't give me history about myself. And every time, even in college, every time they have an African American studies or something like that, the class is full. But you go in that class, it's barely 20 students in the class. You go in a political science class, it's 150 students in the class. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
it's not meant for us to learn what we need to learn. To really show us who we are.
Yep.
We're forced to see.
Yes, and that's an issue, and it's a problem too. And I agree with you so much on that, because I had the understanding that I didn't even learn about American history, like African American history, even though I feel like I'm American, but African American history, until I actually took a class in college, and they began to talk about how we came from royalty. but they tell you that we are slaves and we're nothing and we didn't have this and this and we couldn't have a stable civilization, but it was all lies because
Yeah, it's just like how they do TV. They'll show
Mhm.
you a Ethiopian child is starving, but they won't show you these
Mhm.
gorgeous cities that's in South
Yeah,
Africa and
come
all
on.
of this stuff. They won't show you that stuff. They
Yes.
program you to see what they want you to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you never achieve anything more. So you'll never be anything better than that. And I say for each parent is their own, but I never gave my son a dream to be the next football player, the next basketball player. I always told him, no, son, you could be the CEO. What you mean? You can have your own business. You can run it just as God give you. And that's pushing that into our kids and making sure that they know that they can achieve and do anything.
Yes.
And I hate that. And Evangelist Cynthia Cheek said it happened to my oldest right after I took them out of private school. Wow.
Yeah.
So she's agreeing with
And
what
it's
you
like you
said.
have to,
Yeah.
as a parent, we have to learn to start listening to our kids
Mm-hmm.
and look at their mannerisms. A lot of time the system kind of have you to overwork to where you don't pay attention to your kids, but the kids really is like our future and how the world is gonna go.
Yeah,
So
that's the truth.
you have to pay attention and listen to them.
Oh yes. Oh wow. Oh, that's amazing that you just pointed that out. And
It's definitely true, Asia.
so did
Asia
it?
said
I
they
couldn't.
don't, she said they don't show you that because they're stealing all the resources, all of the natural resources they're stealing from the Africans. That is true.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. How do you have
And
diamonds?
there are dangerous people. If like if you look at like some of your other counterparts and other races,
Mm-hmm.
when they know their history and they know what they come from, it's a sense of pride and a sense of like it's a distinguishment that's there immediately. Like they don't have to do nothing yet that makes them feel like I have the stature, I am this person.
Mm-hmm.
If you take away um the person's pride and you take away their sense of
Who they
dignity,
are. Mm-hmm.
you get what I'm saying? You
Mm-hmm.
have a lesser person. Now they'll forever work for you. Now they'll forever go. Like they're not leaders right now. They're
Mm-hmm.
following
Yeah.
what you say do because it seems like you are the one with the prestige and you are the one that's holding the keys. If
Mm-hmm.
you know truly that you have royalty inside of you and you know who you are a force to be reckoned with.
Yes, I agree. I agree very, very, very much on that. And I hate that it has to be like that, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like just basically keeping us in our place. And
Yeah.
I tell the kids even now, there's so much stuff going on, and there's so much stuff encouraging them to go to another side, like even the young black men and the young black men to actually exterminate each other. You're doing what they do. You're doing what they want you to do, and you're doing what they're portraying for you to only see. But there's more to life than just that part of life,
Yeah.
and it's very, very, very serious. And I'm glad that you just pointed that out.
Yeah, but
And
I do like this new era of kids. Like it's a double edged sword. You know, you're gonna have the bad, you're gonna have the good. One thing I do like about the new generation is they're making waves. Like it's the most new millionaires that have been created off of YouTube from these kids consistently doing something. You get what I'm saying? Like so despite like the gang violence and all of that, you still have these young kids that's inventing stuff. They're creating their own businesses. They're actually breaking chains and generational curses very early.
oh yeah.
Very early.
Yes, yes, I do. I do agree with that. I do agree with that very, very surely. But it's just it's whatever they're taught in the home.
Yep.
It always is how they're taught in the home.
And I
Um,
feel like in the home life gets messed up because of the work life of the parent. The work life and home balance is the biggest juggle. That's
oh
why we
yeah,
have to create more economic freedom.
Oh
because
yes.
it's a big juggle. Like, do I miss work to go to my child's game? Do I? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's a
The bills got to be
and then
paid.
your teachers are the ones that's really influencing your kids the most, and they're being influenced in school the most because they're there most of the day. That's why I
Yes.
really want to homeschool. I really do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But if they have good teachers, because I can say this, that not all teachers are bad teachers, and
No, not just from being bad teachers. I'm saying like how you would teach your child. You don't really know what the
what
teacher's
their values
morals and
are.
values are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No.
nobody can really, you can't really know what's been instilled in your child with them being there for so long out of the
Oh
day.
yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. And the point I was trying to get with some of the teachers not being all of the teachers not being bad is because
Mm-hmm.
Jalen has honestly had some teachers that have went to bat for him. And I'd be like, well, God, I wonder why I got to get the bad batch. I
Mm-hmm.
got to get the bad batch because my experience with teachers, not just one teacher. I remember it was this one black lady, and I remember her, and I used to see her when I was older. And
Mm-hmm.
she better be glad by that time I was saved, because the things I wanted to say to her was, this is what I wanted to say some things to her. And thank God I was saved, because sister, when I tell you, it wouldn't have went like she wanted it to go at
Mm-hmm.
all. Because I'm grown now. You can't
Mm-hmm.
talk to me and belittle me in front of the students. She told me that if she was my age, she would have been beat me up. She told me I was ghetto, and she belittled me in front of my classmates, and they were laughing this day, but I didn't think about anything that she said about me was funny. You know how like you
Mm-hmm.
laugh to keep from crying?
Yeah.
And that's how I felt in that
Definitely.
moment. And so when I was an adult, I wanted to tell her she had her kids, and I wanted to say, I hope nobody never talks to your child in the way that you talked to me when
Mm-hmm.
I was a child. Because if you wanted to pull me to the side and say, Laquanza, this, but don't embarrass me with the intentions of showing me something and getting me told. You get what I'm saying? As an adult. And
Yeah.
her and another teacher used to get in the corner and talk about me as a child. And
Yeah.
I'm still a child. You're an adult.
And
So,
if you're trying to teach a teaching lesson, it's another way to go about that than degrade a person.
oh yeah, yes. Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. So I just yeah, it's yeah, it's just it's something. It's terrible to be able to go through all of those things. But
Yeah,
did
and
you
I'm
have
sorry
any?
that happened to you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry that
I
happened
yes,
to
I
you.
had some. So I could agree with you. I could testify with you. I had some bad experiences that kind of tainted my view of teachers, because everything a teacher used to say to my son, we'd be about to go, What you mean? You ain't saying nothing, until
Mhm,
God gave me the realization that you and Jalen not even the same person. So
mhm,
you trying to go to bat, but his teachers are not like the teachers that came across. And
yeah,
maybe I was an unruly child.
mhm.
I could admit my fault.
Over there breaking all the rules and regulations.
Yeah, yeah, all of them. Don't give me none. But it was a reason why I was the
Yeah,
way that I
yeah,
was. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You never asked the question, how was my home life? Or how am I feeling? You didn't ask those questions. So I'm just
yeah.
glad that you really, really brought that out. And I was gonna go to I'm sorry, I'm trying to get all the comments in, y'all. It said evangelist Cynthia Cheek said this young lady is speaking with great wisdom. Yes, she is. She has great wisdom. We're gonna talk about the more stuff she
Thank
do
you.
later,
Only got one little gray hair. Only one little gray hair.
but she got but she got some phenomenal wisdom on business, everything. So it said we need more black teachers. I never in my life never had a black teacher.
I
I,
have,
I
I have
have
cool black teachers too.
but some of them was, yeah, they was just as bad, if not worse. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm talking about, and
Yeah, they tried to break.
these are predominantly white schools that I went to. So
Mhm.
they were honestly just as bad. Some of them, you got some good ones that spoke life, but then you had some that wasn't. You
Hey,
had
mommy.
all, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Somebody was saying hey in the comments. I was speaking.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to go through some of them. Okay. Okay. Who is that?
Evangelist
Oh,
Cheek said you had oil on your life at a young age and they was trying to break it.
Yeah. I believe that in Jesus' name. And
Yeah.
I almost would have. So, and hey, cuz, how you doing? Hey, y'all. Okay, so we're gonna go. I know I done got stuck on that because it's in my mind and I'm thinking about it. So tell us about, is there anything else that you experienced before?
My period started at 10.
Oh my goodness. Tell us about that. Wow.
Horrible. I thought my butt was bleeding. Excuse my French. That's what I screamed downstairs. I promise you. I remember that day like it was yesterday too. I ain't know what was going on because nobody had told me what a menstrual was. So I screamed downstairs, "Mama, my butt bleeds." She take me to the emergency room. She thought somebody had touched me.
Oh wow. Okay.
So it was on my 10th birthday too.
Oh yeah, yes. I mean, yep.
And I remember it being so heavy. I would like bleed through. I used to have to go home with a bag. People thinking I done peed on myself. Really, the blood that went through my pants. I used to be anemic. I want to say about 11, 12, 11.
Did you ever? You didn't ever
seizures?
Oh my goodness.
My mom. Well, the same teacher had taught my mom to put me on Ritalin at the same school.
Oh wow!
I like that school. And I started having seizures from the Ritalin.
Oh wow! You're right. So before you go there, what did the Ritalin? How did it make you feel? Because everybody have their different stories on how it make them feel. But how did the Ritalin make you feel? And why did they convince your mama to put you on?
Because they thought I was hyperactive. I came out of private school and went to public school, and I was bored. I knew everything. And I didn't know how to explain that as a kid. Like, I'm not hyperactive. I just don't like being bored.
Oh, like, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So, when they first put me on it, I felt like it made me have. Well, I didn't know I was having seizures at first. This is how I found out I was having seizures. The little girl I used to play with all the time I would come back to. So I was having silent seizures at first. I would come back to.
What is that?
Be mad. Like, so silent seizures is when you kind of blank out. You just have a blank stare.
Oh, wow.
You don't realize you blanked out.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Yeah, you don't realize you blanked out. You just know when you come back to if somebody was right there and they'd be like, so if you was spending a lot of time by yourself, you probably wouldn't even know you was having seizures at first. So I would blank out. And the girl I was friends with would get mad. She would think I was ignoring her.
Mm-hmm.
So she would be like fussing at me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So that started happening first. And then one day I was playing with my toys and my jaw just started twitching like really, really bad. And and every time I tried to talk, I would like the drool would come out. So my brother, it was just me and my brother at the house. And so I walked over to my brother's room and he thought I was playing. He goofy. So he started laughing. Then when he realized like it wasn't stopping, he ran and got Bertha, which is crazy.
Yeah. Bertha was always somewhere.
Bertha was always somewhere. He went and got Bertha, and that's how we figured out I was having seizures. So then they gave me Tegretol, and I was on Tegretol. I think Mama had to move from Woodland Homes, so my first seizures was in Woodland Homes, and then my mama had moved to like this duplex over by Sterling, and they had me on Tegretol, but I told my mama I didn't like the medicine because I felt like it made me have seizures at night. So that's when I started having like the twitching seizures where your whole body twitch. Or my mama would be curling my hair for church and I would just fall out. Like I would just pass out and be on the floor, and I
So
would wake up to my mama trying to push orange juice down my throat. Because back in the day, they used to tell you to put a spoon in the mouth,
oh yeah,
try to
so
give you
so
orange. I
oh
don't know what
wow.
orange juice was supposed to do, but I still love orange juice to this day. um, so I remember I was like, something not right with this medicine. I just always felt like I was like smarter than these doctors. So I had took myself off the medicine.
What?
I took myself off the medicine, and my mama had told me, I remember it's like it was yesterday. She said, if you ain't been taking that medicine, they gonna know tomorrow when you go to the doctor. If you ain't been taking that medicine, I'm gonna whoop your tail. So I was scared. So I took like 4 pills.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up in the hospital. Almost died.
Oh my good, that was like an overdose.
They lost me. They actually lost me. I
They
woke
had to. Oh my! So they had to
down my
resuscitate you.
nose and my mouth and bright, like, the surgery light in my eyes. That's
Yes.
how I woke up.
Oh
My
my
mama said
goodness.
that night, and I remember that night, I felt like I was dreaming, but I actually was having a seizure. And my mama said I had done. By the time she woke up, because everything was falling, like loud stuff falling in the room. I had scratches all on my back from me hitting the dresser, like I was convulsing that bad.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. And I remember having to stay in the hospital for a few days, and that's when they used to bring the dogs to the kids, because I was still a kid. The
Mhm.
dog, like the puppies for you to pet and stuff to help you cope.
No. Mm-mm.
So they
In
got
the
like a
hospital.
program where, yeah, they used to have a program where they would bring puppies around to the kids that's hospitalized and stuff to try to help them deal with the stress or whatever.
Oh wow.
I remember they sent me to a psychologist because they thought I was
Mhm.
trying to kill myself. And I was like, I was lying. I was like, I didn't take no pills. Like, y'all gonna take me from a movie. I ain't take no pills. I didn't want to say I was scared I was gonna get my butt whooped. That's why I had learned my lesson. But
Really?
yeah, nothing on in this house.
So when you say you was more scared of your mama, I'm more scared of my mama than the doctor.
I ain't care nothing about that psychiatrist. I don't know what you're talking about, lady. I was not trying to kill myself. I do know that. So I ended up still taking myself off the medicine because I didn't believe that they worked. I felt like they was making me have them in my sleep more. And I never had a seizure since.
Oh wow! So basically, what you're just saying is that it basically was your body
I felt like
reacted
I had
to
an
it.
allergic reaction
Yeah.
to that. Yep.
Yes. Yes. And then it could have been the Lord said, she didn't need that anyway. You
Yeah,
didn't
I
need that
wasn't
anyway.
hyperactive. I was a child that was like I still am. I love knowledge. I love to learn. I'm an avid learner. So if I've already learned this, I don't want to keep going over this when I got it.
Oh
Give me
wow.
something else to do. A good teacher would have. Okay, we need to advance her up to the next
Yeah.
grade. You know.
So
Um,
was it no AP classes? Was it AP classes?
no.
Okay, so yeah.
I don't even know if it was AP classes there at that school because it was elementary. Um, I do feel like it kind of started taking the zeal out of learning for a little while for me. And then when I started having seizures, that kind of affects your schoolwork and stuff too. But I still like to learn. I still was like really
Oh
good at school
wow.
when it came to that. Yeah.
Oh wow. Teresa Pickney said, my God, my daughter came out of private school. God allowed me to advocate for her. So it's a lot of people testifying that they had their same experience and their children experience the same things that happened to you to them too.
Yeah.
So surely your testimony is even helping them and being able to have them be able to relate with you. Um, and I'm just like, whoa. So how many years was it that you had took the medication that caused you to have?
I think the Ritalin, it was the first year they put me on Ritalin that I started having the seizures.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
it
So
was fast. And it's crazy because my nephew had the same problem. When his mom put him on Adderall, he had started having seizures. And I was like, Mom, why you even let her do that? Because
No.
clearly it don't react well with us.
Oh
And
wow.
so
So, did they ever put him on anything else or
not
no?
that I remember. No,
No.
but I remember him having one in front of me, and same thing. They were still saying the same thing. Put a spoon on their tongue to try to keep them from
Try that.
swallowing their tongue.
Oh wow. Not even realizing that all of these medications that you give kids is not even for them all the time.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
And a lot of times, it's really that they need something else to do. You need to find something that they're interested in for them to put their attention on.
that is true. That
Yeah.
is true. Give them extra.
Especially boys. Boys, you kind of have to have them in sports. They busy, you know. You kind of
Hmm.
have them in activities.
Yes, boys
Play.
is. I'm like, where do you get this energy from?
Yeah, they got a lot of energy.
Yes. Well, he done calmed down now, but Lord have mercy. I tell you what, when he was a little kid,
Mhm.
full energy. I'm talking about climbing up trees, walking on the deck, and I'm just like, you ain't scared. Just free.
Raekwon, that's my first cousin right there. We
Hey,
5 days apart. That's my
you're right.
yeah, that's my mom's youngest sister daughter.
Okay, okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that
They
at
was
all.
pregnant at the same time. I can only imagine.
Uh
We're
oh.
exactly 5 days apart. I'm the 17th, hers the 22nd.
Okay, so y'all right, but so y'all cousin twins, really?
Really, really.
Ain't
But
nothing wrong with it at all. I'm just you just amaze me about your story about so but you were so young, so you was going through a lot of stuff as a young
yeah,
person.
I was going through having a period and seizures. And then I was anemic, so they was having to give me blood transfusions because my periods were so heavy.
Oh
And
wow!
they started
So
me on birth control at 12.
oh my goodness! So
Yeah.
when you first started your menstrual at 10, it was strong enough to that's when you said it was bleeding through, and when it bleeding through, eventually the thing that they came up with was giving you
The
birth
blood
control.
transfusion. Well, I got the blood transfusions before they did the birth control.
Oh my goodness! Oh
Mhm.
wow! So how was it like with the blood transfusion? Because that's
I
young.
was anemic. Like, I don't think I thought about it like that. I think when you're younger, you don't realize other people not going through the same thing until you start talking
Yeah, yeah. That's
to
true.
them.
That is true.
Yeah,
You're right.
so it was just like, okay, I gotta go to the doctor. I remember hating IVs to now I can just sit there and watch them. Like,
Like
that's
okay.
not the right thing, lady. You need to go on and stick it up here. My arm where all the other doctors get a good thing.
Yes.
I literally point them in the right direction now. I mean,
They
I
get mad
probably
about
do it
that.
myself at this point.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you was in the children's hospital a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Was it any time like days at a
Well,
time?
pediatrics.
Was it like days at a time?
For the seizure, just when I had that really bad seizure. For the period, they would just like, I think it was an overnight stay, and then they just kept saying I had bad periods. I don't think it was a lot of research like it is now because I didn't find out about endometriosis until I was 19. So I came home from basic training.
Oh wow! So from the age of 10, 12, you just got the birth control, and you got the birth control. Did the birth control help?
The birth control would keep my period from being on so long. So I used to bleed like almost the whole month. Like they would have to give me birth control to stop my period.
Okay, so did it stop it completely?
Mm-mm. It
No.
will come
Okay.
on the days that you don't take the pills, the 5 days.
Oh,
And then
so
by the time I got in high school, they put me on the depot shot. and that made it only come on 1 week out the month.
Oh wow, for real?
Yep, but then they had that lawsuit with the depot shot, and my doctor took me off the depot shot, and then they put me on a NuvaRing. Then they tried the patch.
I did Depo the patch, and I'm already chubby, and I was chubby.
Well, depot didn't make me gain weight like it made some people. I was still playing sports. I played volleyball, ran track, and played basketball in high school.
Oh wow, so you were still active.
Mm-hmm. My whole gangsta out here for real.
You said you got that thug and that
Thug life. Thug life. My family know what it is. No, but that's like the saying we say in my family. Like if I'm hurting and I'm just trying to tough it out, and they ask me how I feel about thug life, and then know like she hurting for real.
She hurt for real.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So okay, so playing your sports, so it didn't give you your minstrels didn't give you trouble.
Yeah, and it was weird. I remember feeling like my grandma didn't believe me when I was little about being in pain, and some of my family members I felt like didn't believe me because I would be okay until I wasn't. So it'd be like,
oh wow,
I might be then just ran like, and I ran hurdles. I might be then just ran and then have cramps that pull me down to the floor. Like, I remember missing weeks of school at a time.
Oh wow,
being so bad and me being in so much pain. And I remember my mama just handled it so with so much grace. I don't know, like me having Ella, it be hurting me when she hurting, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I just God gave her so much strength.
Oh yeah. And surely
a lot.
Yeah, and surely, you know, like you said, her experiences probably taught her how to be strong in certain ways. And thank God that she was strong for you, that you were a young lady and you were doing so much and you were going through so much. So surely, I guess if you see a parent, you know, break down during certain times, it might would have caused you to break down. Then maybe it might have caused you to question, like, what's really going on? What's really going on? You know,
and I think seeing my mom be so strong. My aunt was very strong. My mom and my aunt was workaholics. So I feel like seeing them just keep going through whatever adversity they had just made me feel like, why would I complain? Like, why should I stop?
Oh wow!
If they can keep going, I can keep going.
Oh wow!
So I started working when I was 16. I had a job at 16 at the movie theater. I never stopped working since I started. Even before I started working, though, my aunt used to pay me to clean the house and do her yard. I made more money in that than I did at the movie theater. So when I first got paycheck, I was like, what is this?
Ain't it always like that? Ain't it always like that?
I worked this many hours. I was supposed to get paid this. Like, why y'all taking my money? Why y'all taking my money? But yeah, I remember I was very active. My aunt, I was always back and forth between my mom and my aunt house. So some years I stayed with my mom, some years I stayed with my aunt.
Oh, even as you got older.
And 1 year I stayed with my mama's sister, my aunt Kim, in the 8th grade at Vic. That was the flyest year of them all because my aunt was like that aunt. But
so she was the cool aunt.
She was the cool aunt. Still the cool aunt. Yeah, I remember like, man. So my aunt 2 kids, she adopted Man and Alexis. I called them my little brother and my little sister. So I remember my aunt worked in Chicago. She worked in Pittsburgh. She worked in Charlotte at airlines.
Okay, so she was a stewardess.
She worked like the counter, the ticket.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So my uncle worked swing shift at Michelin, and my grandmother didn't drive. So technically, my grandmother was watching us, but I was driving at 16.
What?
Yeah. So I used to basically be parents to my little brother, my little sister, Emmanuel and Lex. I used to take them to school, take them to practice, take myself to school, take myself to practice and work.
Oh wow! See,
and I remember little guys used to try to talk to me, but they would see the car seats in the back seat, and they'd be like,
"Oh, never mind."
They were like, "You got kids?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
Well, who calls
Yes, you do. I guess that was God way of protecting me in high school. Them dudes was like, my mama warned me about women like that.
So he was just thinking you was on out there.
And I remember not thinking about it. I remember like we just worked together so well. Like my aunt would come home like every other weekend. That was about the only time she was home for a good little while. And then that's who I traveled with. That's how I learned how to travel. She would take me traveling. She would take me shopping to the Mall of America. She would take me shopping in Chicago. And I was like, "Ooh, I can go shopping." So if I do everything I'm supposed to do while she go, she gonna take me to the Mall of America about everything. And I didn't realize that most teenagers wasn't that mature. And I remember my mama still would say, I worked at the movie theater. My mom would say I couldn't go to the movie theater because the movie theater was the devil. I told y'all everything.
Oh wow. Okay. So you couldn't. She
didn't want me working there.
Oh wow. You didn't sneak and watch no movies, did you?
No, so if I went with that nurse, it was fine. But like the teenage stuff of like going bowling, going to the movies, it was always no. And my best friends, I had got them jobs at the movie theater too. And they was like, "Tell your mama you gonna go to work and then go out with us." Who? April Harris. I'm crazy. Y'all crazy.
The Lord have been done told her.
I ain't doing it. I swear that lady had eyes all over Greenville. I promise you. Somebody was gonna tell, and I wouldn't get a whooping.
She would have knew.
I ain't care if I was 16 or not. I would still get a whooping. It was not happening. It just was not. I was not for it. So I remember never sneaking. I never snuck nobody in the house. I never snuck out. I ain't do none of that.
You were a really good girl. Wow. I did some of those things.
I was scared of that lady. Now I did. I tried to have sex at 11. I did. I tried.
Oh wow! Tell us about what happened.
Okay, so let's break it down.
What?
So I had this little neighbor. My mom was staying in a duplex. So his window to his room was like right here. My window to my room was right here, and the alleyway was real slim. So we would play telephone. The old school solo cup with the string.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin Gwen, she in a comment, she could attest.
Yeah, we telling our age now.
With this boy and his brothers next door, we would talk through the little thing. Because my mom wouldn't let me talk on the phone. My brother could talk on the phone, but I couldn't talk on the phone. It was still the house phone back then.
Oh, wow. For real?
So we would play telephone. And really, his oldest brother liked me, but his older brother was my brother age. My brother 5 years older than me.
Okay.
I just thought that was gross. My brother and all his friends was gross to me. And so I would talk back and forth to him through the red solo cup on the phone. So we was still kids. I remember we used to hunch and play hide and go get it and all this.
Yeah.
So we ended up we used to hunch. And one day my mama went home and he was like, I had sex.
How old was he?
I was 11. He probably was 12.
Okay, so he was just
Lee Street. It definitely was on Lee Street. So he was like, he had sex. And I was like, oh, how it feel?
Oh.
Curious kids is not the kid. Like, we got to educate our kids better because if somebody would have told me, that would happen. So,
well, let me ask you a question for you. So, how did you know what sex was? Had you been? It was just a conversation, huh?
We stayed in the hood. You hear people talking about sex all the time. Like, it's not like I think the misconception for adults is they don't remember that as kids they knew a lot of stuff younger than their parents thought they knew.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I knew
yeah.
about what weed was and all of that stuff at 10, 11 years old.
Oh, wow, for real?
Yeah, because you hear people talking about it. Some people talk freely in front of kids and they don't censor their conversation. They just tell you stay out of grown folks' business. That don't mean we ain't listening through the wall.
You know what? My grandma, my great grandma, you could not sit in the kitchen when grown folks was in the kitchen.
Yeah, but you still hear them. They talk loud.
No, I promise you, no.
Man,
You had to go outside.
Have you heard my mama talk? My mama has always had a loud voice. My Aunt Kim always talk loud. Like, even like cousins that was supposed to watch us. Like, I remember learning stuff, even if my mom didn't have anything happening or nothing going on. We had a grandma that stayed, like, she was like the pull-up house. Like, everybody used to be at her house. So if you ain't had no babysitter, you basically could go drop your kids off over there and go about your merry way, because it was always up there. And I remember seeing the craziest stuff over there and hearing the craziest stuff over there. I remember one of my aunts used to have male strippers come to the house. Like,
what?
Crazy. So, yeah, I knew what sex was at 10 and 11.
Okay. I mean, well, I was introduced to.
I didn't know. I knew what it was, but I didn't see what it was, if that makes sense. So,
well, I got exposed to porno at a young age. So I'm just asking, you know, like, okay.
I hadn't seen porn. Not at that age. I hadn't seen porn. So if I would have seen it, that's what they did.
Yeah.
I had just a little tickle feeling, you know.
Oh, it's not funny. You had a tickle feeling.
I had the tickle feeling. I didn't know that nothing was being inserted nowhere. So this was that trying to tell me what we about to do and trying to explain it.
Oh, wow.
So when he tried to penetrate and I felt a little bit of pain, get off of me and get out of my mama's house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I felt so shamed and so scared that somebody was going to tell my mama before I did, that I told my mama first. And my cousin told me I was crazy. One was like, she was crying. She was crying like it was her.
Oh.
She was like, don't tell her, April, don't tell her.
Oh. She probably might have been scared.
So I had accepted that I was about to die.
It's over.
I walked through that room like my life going in, but I told her.
Hey, I understand. I was the whooping parent. So I understand.
So I came in there and she started laughing at me. I said, "Ma, I gotta tell you something." And I started crying, little tears started flowing. And she was like, "What you crying for? What you do?"
Uh-oh.
I had sex. And she bust out laughing, like, I mean, hysterically laughing. She thought I was talking about hunching. And she
okay. So, okay.
It's so inquisitive that she asked a lot of questions.
Yes.
So she made it very uncomfortable, even though I didn't get a whooping. Thank God. But the question she was asking me what the body part was, what hole it went, like she was asking everything. And I was just like, I know what sex is. I was in my head like, I know what I'm talking about.
She had to make sure.
And
did you really know?
She was like, did you bleed? I was like, no. Like, I don't think I did. So I remember her taking me to the gynecologist for them to check to see if my hymen was in place. And when I tell you, that was the most uncomfortable.
Oh my goodness.
Man, if that didn't break me, her telling her friends and then the whole neighborhood end up knowing broke me.
Oh my goodness.
Again, people start calling me a hoe.
Oh, yeah.
And like the church knew. It was just so embarrassing. And I had made a vow. I got saved at 12. I spoke in tongues at 12 years old. I had made a vow that I would never do that again until I was married. And I was like, so I remember it was just so humiliating.
Oh, wow.
Because it's one thing for like you to have to tell your parent. And then it's another thing when everybody knows.
So he told.
No, I told my mama. And it ended up spreading like wildfire. I'm pretty sure he probably told people too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep. So
Wow.
that was I think that's what turned me good right there. That was my turn. That was my scared straight. That was my
You got shamed into turning the right way with the Lord.
I got scared straight,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up not having sex again until like my second semester in college.
Oh wow. Okay, so you was okay.
In high school, I ain't had sex with nobody. I had phone sex. That was it.
What? How old was you when you was doing that? Huh?
I told you I ain't got no shame.
You told me you ain't had no shame. She told me, y'all.
I ain't got nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. Mama was staying in Freetown then. She moved to Freetown when I was in the 8th grade. So it was definitely 8th grade and up when I started having phone sex. But I learned how to have phone sex from spying on my brother on the phone.
Oh.
You know, we used to have house phones, so you could put the phone on mute and listen to the conversations. And the little girl, my brother gonna kill me. But the little girl used to be trying to moan on the phone, and I used to be cracking up.
So you was just being
our rooms was right beside each other. So when he would hear me laughing, he would chase me out the house.
What?
Watch your older kids around your young kids. They do not need to be hearing what your older kids are doing.
Because by this time he was way older than you.
When I had never did anything, but I was describing stuff that they didn't even know what I was talking about.
Oh wow! Oh, because you heard it?
Because I heard it. I said the same stuff that my brother used to be saying, and that girl would be saying.
Oh Lord! What?
Yep, messing them little boy heads up. They used to be fighting over me in middle school.
What?
I had 3 boyfriends in the 8th grade. When I stayed with my Aunt Kim, I had 3 boyfriends.
I know you wasn't trying to play them games like, I love you.
I used to always
I love you.
I always loved poetry.
Oh yeah, me too.
This dude, I can't say his name because he's buried down in Greenville, but he would go in a library and copy Langston Hughes poems and write it in a letter and like he done wrote it and give it and give it to me. Now, mind you, I could only talk to them if I was with my Aunt Kim or if my mama was at work and I snuck on the phone.
Oh
so
wow!
They really didn't have access to me though.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
My mama had me very sheltered.
Okay, so was you even able to go out, or was you able to?
No, I told you everything was the devil.
Even the park.
I could go to Cleveland Park when I stayed with my Aunt Kim because she stayed in Nicholtown and Cleveland Park was right there. But me and Gwan had to go together, and all we got a lot of family in Greenville. All my big cousins would be outside and stuff. We wouldn't get away with it.
No, so somebody was watching you at all times.
Mm-hmm. And I used to go to that basketball court over there in Nicholtown, but I used to like the ball. So
okay, yeah, you did.
Boys.
I'm just like, what the world? It's not funny.
And I used to always think boys was liars, even when I was little. So I used to be like, that's how I had 3 boyfriends. Because
why did you think they was liars?
Because they was.
Some of them, I was about to say some of them is. They is. We said it.
Yes, we Billcrest little boys. Billcrest little boys do too much for their own good.
Oh wow. Oh
they
wow.
Too much for their own good. It was real ratchet at Billcrest back then.
Oh wow. See,
that's when they used to have like the real bad drive-by shooters and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I was out there one time. When we was younger. It was a fight. It was supposed to be, I think, it was at 2-5 and Fieldcrest was supposed to fight that day. I'm talking about it was so many people out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was packed. And we came out there. We went with my friend girl boyfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't say his name because he on my Facebook page. But we got in the car, think we was grown. We probably teenagers. Got in the car with him, thought we was grown. they literally got to shooting, and they were shooting at us in the car because they thought that we had came with the
never stepped foot in another hood a day.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm from Malden. I'm from Malden, down the street from Malden.
Girl, I'm too scary. I'm the scary friend. And I ain't never around with you ever again in life. I promise you. Nope, don't call me. I can't go nowhere with you.
Yeah, it was like he literally. I mean, yeah, it was. Yeah, we didn't know though. We went out there to go see a fight, and a fight turned into
not Hillcrest. I said Hillcrest.
Hillcrest. Who said Hillcrest?
Jalen.
Son, get out of this conversation.
You don't even supposed to be
here. And Mata said, love the transparency. Amen. I love transparency too. You got to be yourself. You got to tell the truth, and you got to always be honest. And I appreciate Konisha for sharing her story and telling her truth honestly too. And Miss Evangelist Rouse said, still telling lies. She talking about the men still telling them lies.
They still telling lies. We know.
And April just laughing at him. And what was that? I just seen you said it was your cousin. Sorry, the comments coming in, y'all. I can't even get to all of them. Sorry.
I think she was talking about when we got caught through the window. Yeah, we got caught. We got caught talking to them boys.
Oh Lord, have mercy!
Our little red solo coat telephone. That don't work. The sound actually echoes. See, what I was learning was science. See, that's how I was learning science. I was just practicing what I learned.
Look, oh wow!
But so, yeah.
You have talked about, experiencing your menstrual at 10 years old, then at 12 years old, going on to a birth control, and then you talked about seizures. And I mean, I didn't even know you've been through all this stuff. We was cutting up the other day, cutting up real bad, but I didn't even know all of the depth of your testimony.
Yeah, but I didn't even find out. I didn't find out about endometriosis until right after I got home from basic training. So I signed my initial contract.
So let me ask you a question. So you were having the excruciating pains and they never connected, because I know you said you was
I was having the really heavy periods first. I didn't start having the cramps until college. When they put me on the NuvaRing and the patch is when I started having a real bad cramps.
Do you think, was it a side effect from it, or no, it's just something that's already...
I think it was God whipping my tail for having sex. Sadly true. That's how I analyzed it in my head, because when I wasn't having sex, I wasn't having pain. And then when I started having sex, I started having pain.
Wow. Okay. So can you tell us what is endometriosis? Endometriosis. I'm sorry.
Yes. So endometriosis is when the lining of the uterus grows outside of the uterus. So first, let me say what the endometrial tissue is. Endometrial tissue is the tissue that lines the uterus. Mm-hmm. So that's what sheds off when you have your period every month.
Okay. And that's the lining.
That's the lining of the uterus that basically makes you have your period every month. So endometriosis is when that endometrial tissue grows outside of the ovaries and the uterus. It can grow on the ovaries as well, but it still bleeds off internally and causes scar tissue, adhesions. It can cause blood-filled cysts, what they call endometriomas. So that's what makes it painful. Endometriosis look like a piece of mold. It look like a black piece of mold, like a black stick, but it bleeds whatever it's connected to. So that tissue and scar tissue that ends up building up from the endometriosis starts to connect. Like it'll start pulling. So if it's endometriosis on one ovary and it's endometriosis on another ovary and that scar tissue connects, it'll pull it all together.
Oh, wow.
So my very first work,
kind of
Yeah.
contracting it. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so it'll make like scar tissue, and it's just like it just makes it messy and sticky and just a mess in there.
mhm.
So I went to basic training. So I graduated, I was 19. No, I was 18 when I graduated because my birthday in February. I joined the military, I think at 19. I went to school for a year and a half, and then I signed my initial contract to go into basic training. So by the time I went to basic training, I was 20 going on 21.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and I had my first surgery right when I got like not even a year after being home from basic training.
Go back some. So, okay, you went to your okay, so from we're going from
I went to high school,
okay.
graduated, went to
Mhm,
Winthrop,
mhm,
was there for a year and one semester,
mhm.
and then I came home. I felt ashamed for having to come home. So I found a recruiter and signed up for the military.
Oh wow, okay. And signed up for the military.
And
And
then the next year I was in basic in AIT. I did my basic and job training together, so I was gone for 6 months.
oh wow, okay. And in that time, what do you think that it was that caused your symptoms to actually come forward or
Um, well,
increase?
they believe that like when you work out at the rate that you have to work out for basic training. Now, mind you, I played
Yes.
sports, so I wasn't out of shape when I went to
Mhm,
in basic training. I still
mhm.
was in really, really good shape. Um, but you're working out like maybe 8 hours out of the day every day in basic training. So a lot of people like underlying
Ooh,
symptoms that they'll have
yeah.
become worse. So I had already been having
Mm.
cramps, but they just kept telling me I had bad periods. Nobody did an ultrasound, nobody did none of that. They just told me I had bad periods and would switch my birth control. So I didn't know I had endometriosis or nothing like that when I went into basic training. They just kept saying it was bad periods. So
So
I'm
can
on
I
my life goal.
oh wow. Could have caught it earlier and it wouldn't have had to be as bad as it got?
Possibly,
Oh wow.
possibly if they did the right test, I guess, but you can't, they don't diagnose endometriosis. They only diagnose it through surgery.
Only through surgery?
They can
And
only,
that's them only going in to do something else. And then when they go in and do something else, and then
unless
they
they do it
realize,
exploratory. Some doctors will do
oh wow.
exploratory depending on how the person described their symptoms. But at the time that I found out I had endometriosis, it was very uncommon. Um,
Oh
They
wow.
didn't know that much about it. So what happened, like when I was in basic training, they just kept giving me ibuprofen. If you're military, you already know there's stuff ibuprofen and water down your throat. Water cure everything, and ibuprofen cure everything.
No, it
So
don't.
they just gave me 800 ibuprofen while I was in basic. I made it all the way through basic and AIT. My periods was heavy still. I still cramped. They gave me the medicine. I just took it out.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I got home. I got my first apartment and I started hair school.
Mhm.
And I start having like excruciating cramping. And it just felt like everything was being pulled around. And I'm pretty tough, but it was just like it had got to the point to where okay, at this point I need to find a new gynecologist. So now I have better insurance. So I found a better gynecologist. And I end up finding them through my mama because my mama always worked in the hospitals.
Oh
She
wow. Yes. Okay.
she used to cater to the doctors, like bring the food to the doctors for their lunch breaks and stuff.
Mhm.
And so she had met Dr. David Godwin um, in the doctor's lounge from when she was serving them or whatever. And she would ask about, stuff, problems I had going on.
Mhm.
And so I ended up making an appointment with Dr. Godwin. He did a vaginal ultrasound immediately and seen a cyst that was about to rupture on my ovaries.
Oh wow.
So we went
So
in
how
the
did the cyst get there? Was it just something that happened over time?
I don't know. My mama developed cysts too, so I don't
Wow. Okay.
know. But when they went to remove the cyst, my
Mhm.
both of my ovaries, my tubes, and my uterus was all balled up together. Very first surgery.
Oh wow.
So, um, they had it clean, had to clean it up as best as he could. I remember him talking to me and telling me how serious and how bad it looked. But I was so optimistic then to where I thought like, I'm gonna be okay. And I had the surgery and cleared it up, you know, I was already eating pretty decent. I was in the best shape of my life. Like that
Oh
whole
wow.
thing with people saying, work out. I was in the best shape of my life. This was before all the
Mm.
bad habits, before the candy eating and all of that. Like I wasn't in bad shape at all. I was a size 5. I had a 6-pack when I found out.
What?
Yeah, because
You know what? I ain't never had one. I've been dreaming about it.
so we ended up I think I ended up losing my job at BMW because I had missed too many days from being in pain
Oh
and
wow.
ended up having to move back home. And I remember being like, and I stopped school for a little while and I ended up going back as far as hair school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was the first surgery. The very next year I had to have another surgery. And it was the same thing. Like he was already talking hysterectomy, and this was before 21. He was already talking hysterectomy. He was already basically saying, if I was wanting to get pregnant, I need to get pregnant.
Yeah, go ahead right
I didn't
then.
have a boyfriend at the time, so I was just like, well, who gonna be the daddy?
You want to be the
And
daddy?
I remember being like, well, having a baby is a lifetime commitment. If I'm
Yes.
this young and go ahead and get pregnant, I remember like really thinking about it like, should I? Like, would that be the best decision? Like, I'm so young, I'm not married. Like, so I remember going to a in vitro doctor,
What kind of doctor is that?
the ones that do IVF, like the
Okay, yes.
insemination. So I remember going to them and because I always wanted to be a parent. I knew I wanted to be a parent. I
Yes.
um knew I was young and really didn't have life figured out at all at that point. So I went there and it was like it would be $30,000. I think it was saying $30,000. They
Wow.
would try to get some of like it was weird because some like one of the treatments was 30,000, but then the sperm bank would have been like you had to pay for that different. I think it was another 8,000, and my insurance would cover some of it, but not really because they didn't cover that back then. Like in some insurances cover stuff like that now, but
Yeah.
then they didn't. And I remember calling my daddy, which I never called my.
Mhm.
I never called my
What you laughing for?
I remember calling my daddy and
Yeah.
asking him if he could help me. And I know he probably thought, what is she smoking? Because if she think I'm about to sign up to pay for this, she crazy. But I remember I was mad. I remember being mad about it because I was like, I don't want this dude that I'm messing with to be my baby daddy. And I remember analyzing that thing like, no, like this is the
That
sign.
ain't it, Lord. That ain't
So
it.
I remember putting it to the back of my mind. I done went through this out. I done figured out that I'm broke for real and
Mhm.
I can't afford this because then how I'm gonna take care of the child.
Yeah, okay,
So
yeah.
I kept having to have surgeries. I remember I end up finishing hair school. I started working at my uncle's barbershop doing hair.
Before you get there, how many surgeries did you have before?
It was 2. Like so I had the one when I was in hair school the first time.
Mhm.
That was the first one where they told me I had endometriosis. The very next year I had another one.
Oh wow.
And I decided to go ahead and finish hair school because my grandmother was still living at that point. And she had told me no matter what, God was going to bless me with a baby because my aunt couldn't have kids. My aunt that raised me couldn't have kids.
Oh okay, so wow.
She fostered for a long time and then she adopted. So
Was there a reason why she couldn't? She didn't have the same thing, did she?
She had like the opposite. Like my hormones probably was overreactive. Hers was underreactive. So she barely had a period.
Oh wow. Okay.
Um, and so I remember like saying like, okay, I'm gonna go full fledged in the military stuff. I wanted to become an officer in the military. I wanted to, finish hair school and start my own business with that. And so that's what I had started focusing on. But I kept having to have surgery.
Oh
Um,
wow.
they ended up um, every time he went in, everything would be together.
Mm.
At one time, the endometriosis was blocking my tubes. So he went in and did this ink thing where they try to push the ink through to see if the ink will come out through the ovary.
Yeah.
Um, I was in an endometriosis study before. They kicked me out of the study because my periods was never regulated enough for them because they have to test some things while your period is on and some things while your period was off. Mine
Mhm.
was always on, so they had to kick me out of the study.
Oh wow.
They tried me on just about every hormone they had. The Lupron shot. They put me on a chemo pill before, um, thinking it
Oh
was.
yeah, the chemo pill that stop your menstrual. That's the one
Well,
you
they
talking about?
was thinking it was going to kill off the endometriosis because
Oh wow.
I'm skipping parts because I got to get to the hysterectomy. So
Mm-hmm.
I had my hysterectomy in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
I was
And how old were you at this time?
27.
27. So from 21 to 27.
I had 4 surgeries.
Cool. Yes.
Four,
And
four
none of the,
I
so
was,
none of so none of the surgeries was helpful to be able to stop.
it was like putting a band-aid on it. It was like it
Mhm.
would stop for a little while, then the cramps would come back. And I remember being in the military. I remember my sergeants not believing I was in pain too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I told you it would be like I would be fine until I wasn't, and then when I wasn't, I wasn't.
Then you
For
would, yeah.
like I could go a whole month of being no pain and then be down for 3 months, or go a week with no pain and be down for 3 weeks. I just
Mhm.
never knew it was like so sporadic.
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah.
And
Oh
so,
wow.
um, when I decided to have my hysterectomy, I remember it being like the hardest thing ever because I always wanted to have my own kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted to actually give birth to my own kids. So the pain had got to the point to where I was on 10 all the time.
Oh
I
wow.
was on morphine and dilaudid pills at home, like
Mhm.
prescribed at home. I was working on morphine and dilaudid, like still going to the salon and doing hair.
Oh
I
wow.
remember out being pain some days, and people just love to get their hair done. So they would come sit on the floor. They would come sit on the floor of my mama's house for me to do them a sew in. Like they was very serious about getting their hair done, and I was very eager to make some money. So I would still do it in pain. Like I still work in pain now, but I would still do it in pain. And when he told me, you know, I don't want to keep doing surgery on you. I feel like the hysterectomy will really help you. A lot of women, when they have a hysterectomy, they don't have any more issues with endometriosis. So endometriosis is
Oh,
incurable.
okay.
So they can't say that it'll cure it because they don't know the cure for it. They don't know what caused it. They don't know it's not a cure for it.
Oh
So
wow.
he was basically like, you're gonna have to more than likely have a hysterectomy. And so I kept toying with it, kept toying with it, but the pain was kicking my tail. It's like I
Mm.
couldn't even focus on like I was trying to find like other cures. Like I had tried what's the thing they stick the needles in?
Not the those silver needles.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
What they call it? I can't think of it right
I
now.
don't know. I think I know what you're talking about. Like, but I don't know for sure because it's like they can do the same ones to test like what kind of things you are allergic to, right?
No, the needle that it's like it's supposed to be like something that help cure things. I forgot the name of it, but I had tried it.
Acupuncture.
Acupuncture.
Asia Asia Young said
Yeah,
acupuncture.
yeah, I had tried acupuncture. It made my cramps worse. Um, I had tried Dr. CB pills for a little while. I did decent on a vegan diet, but my energy was so drained. Like I
Mhm.
couldn't figure out how to still keep my energy.
Yeah.
Um I kept trying other things, but the pain was just trumping it every time.
Yeah.
So I decided to go ahead and do it. I used to have nightmares. Like I would have nightmares of a baby crying. It was a
Mhm.
little girl. She looked just like me in my dream, like in the vision that I would have.
Oh, wow.
And she was screaming to the top of her lungs. And
Mhm.
I remember feeling like if I had a hysterectomy, I'm killing my baby. Like, and so I had those nightmares for like the whole week before I had surgery. I still had the nightmares even after surgery.
Oh, wow. For
So I
real.
had the hysterectomy. I was back living with my mom in Freetown. I had the hysterectomy. So I had to make up in my mind, okay, so I'm really going forward with this officer thing. And since they said like I shouldn't have no more pain after this, like I was really pumped up about being out of pain.
Oh,
So I
wow.
was like, I'm gonna go and get a job. I was gonna move to Atlanta and work in Atlanta at a hair salon down there. I had
Mhm.
already set up an interview to go to start working down there off of Peachtree. And I was just like, well, this is just gonna be a reset in my life, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna be able to have my own child, so I'm gonna build up my career, and I'm gonna become an officer in the military.
Mhm.
So now, mind you, I already had the hair vixens at the time. Like I already had my hair brand.
Okay.
So I went. I was supposed to be out for 8 weeks for surgery. I
Mhm.
think week 7, I went down to do the interview for the hair salon down there.
Mhm.
So a lot of hair interviews, you have to do a model for them. Like you have to either cut somebody hair for them or do a style for them for the interview, so they can
Yes.
see the work. So Ella's biological mama was with me and
Mhm.
pregnant at this time.
Oh, wow. How many months from this is before you even get there? But how many months is it from
This
you
was in
already?
August
So you had your
2013.
2013 is when you had your hysterectomy,
Mhm.
and then you went to go to Atlanta with Ella's mama. And when this was
No,
in
July.
August.
July. It was August. It was August when we went. I think the surgery was in July.
Okay. Okay.
So we went down. Her sister was going to be my hair model.
Mm-hmm.
And I had dyed her hair burgundy already, and I was doing a bob cut on her for the interview. So I wore this little cute little blue blazer with a little white little silk button up top and a blue pencil skirt. The outfit matter because
Yeah.
no, the blazer was blue, the skirt was mustard, and it was a kneeling skirt, and I had on these cute blue heels. This was when I loved to wear heels to match my jacket. So that's what I wore to the interview.
Mm-hmm.
I did the haircut. I was cramping, but I told y'all I'm a thug for real. So I was toughing that thing out. I was just doing hair. I was like, I'll get myself together after this interview, but I'm about to get this job. So
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom because you know when your period on, it feel like you gotta pee sometimes.
Yeah.
So I go to use the bathroom. It's blood everywhere. Now, mind you, I just had a hysterectomy,
Oh, wow. Okay.
so it's literally blood everywhere. And because I done had a period since I was 10, of course I had a spare pair of underwear in my purse.
Yeah.
But I had them took my pads out. I had to throw the pads away. I had said I got a hysterectomy, but these pads.
Yeah. I don't
So
mean.
I took the pads out and so I had to make a makeshift pad with the tissue in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I done bu- I done had the now luckily this was a clean salon. They actually had spare trash bags for
Okay.
plastic. You know how you take the trash bag out and there's another trash bag underneath? They actually had.
Yes.
So I was able to tie everything up and throw it in my purse because I ain't about to leave this bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I walked out. And I remember she was trying to talk my head off. She was looking at my social media like, "Oh my God, you got so many followers on Instagram."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, let me show you. Like,
Ma'am, I'm trying to make it this way.
so, my car luckily was parked. And Asia, know my best friend, I don't have luck with parking at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
that day, they had a park right in this downtown Peachtree. Like Peachtree is a busy
Yeah.
road, so it was a park right in front of the salon. And I
Mm-hmm.
was driving my blue Chevy Impala at that time, and I remember thanking God I had that skirt on, because if I ain't had that skirt on, blood would have been out in my pants.
Oh yes, yeah, yeah.
So my friend that I was gonna roommate with, I remember calling him. He worked at the airport down there, and saying, "Can you please?" I didn't have no pain pills on me, no nothing. That's how much I felt like I was not about to have no more issues.
Oh
I ain't have
yes.
nothing on me. And I asked him to go get me some extra strength Tylenol, because that was the only thing I could think of that could possibly edge the pain off.
Mm.
Um, and I asked him to meet me at the apartment that
Mm-hmm.
I was going to be moving to. And so Shay had been, Ella's biological mom name is Shannon, but we call her Shay. So
Mm-hmm.
Shay had been around me long enough to see me in pain. So she
Oh,
already knew the role. Kim had her license, so her sister name was Kim. So Kim was going to drive me back, because I wasn't gonna be able to drive. So when
mm-hmm.
I get to his house, I literally try to lay down. I still was in pain. Everywhere I tried to move, the pain was just pulling, 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 pulling. I was just crying, like tears flowing down my face.
Mm-hmm.
I took like 8 extra strength Tylenol. Nothing was working.
Wow.
My friend was getting mad at me. He was trying to get me to go to the emergency room down there, and I don't trust doctors. I had too many experiences, so
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I need to get back home." And this was on a Friday. The interview was early in the morning, so we was down there earlier in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to go to sleep. I could not go to sleep. I was like, "Take me home. Like, take me to my mom's house. Take me home." I get in the back seat of the Impala. I lay. I couldn't even stretch my legs straight. That's how bad the pulling pain was. I lay on the back seat with my feet up on the mirror, like on the
Wow.
glass on the window, because that's the only way I could lay for it to not feel like it was like pulling.
Cool. Yeah. Mm.
So I struggle, like, you know how people in pain so bad they groan.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
was just like groaning the whole 2 hours back to Greenville. And I remember getting my mama opening the door and me walking through the door and collapsing on the floor.
Mm.
I
Jesus.
passed out. When I came back to, my mama was on the phone with my doctor, and he was telling her to come pick up a script. So my mom, because she used to work in the hospital system, it was like God just placed everything together at the right
Yeah.
time. She was friends with this lady named Miss Gwen. She was a nurse, and she worked in the office right across from my doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
So my mama called Gwen. Dr. Godwin just happened to be there at 5 o'clock on a Friday. That man used to leave at 2 o'clock on Friday.
Yes.
So
Amen. Though. Mm.
he called in the script and scheduled emergency surgery, but his
Mm.
his OR days was only Tuesday and Thursday. So I had to go Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in excruciating pain, like level 100.
Goodness.
That was like the worst pain I had ever had in life. So the whole weekend, I could not lay still to stop the pain from hurting. I couldn't move no type of way. I couldn't stand up to stop the pain from hurting. And I remember I used to record, and I hope I can find these voice recordings when I be ready to do my like autobiography thing. But I used
Yes.
to record like how I felt at the time. And I
Yeah.
remember recording in the phone, you could barely hear my voice. Like, that's how much pain. Like, I didn't eat that whole weekend. I was like totally
Mm-hmm.
just in pain. I don't even know how to describe it. It felt like everything was being ripped apart inside my body.
Jesus. So the
So
medication didn't even help that he
no,
had.
the medication that he called in didn't help. And I remember telling myself, if I can make it to this bathroom, my mama had left the pain pills on the back of the toilet the last time I had went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I had told myself if I can make it to this bathroom, I'm taking that whole bottle of pills. Like I was gonna take myself out of here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I struggled to get to that bathroom. My mama had moved them pills.
Amen.
God told her.
Amen. God intervened.
And it's crazy because the amount of pain I was in, it was hard for mama to come in there and look at me. That's how much pain I was in.
Mm.
And Tuesday morning when we went, I still got videos from like that morning when I went into surgery. I
Yeah.
wore my blue and white traumatic events. I always remember what I had on. I remember I had this blue and white National Guard jumpsuit. It's like the windbreaker suit we used to run PT in.
Mm-hmm.
I had that on that morning. And me and my mama took a picture. And when I tell you my skin was glowing, like I ain't never
Oh
had no
wow.
pain.
Yes,
And I
Jesus.
and I remember just being in good spirits that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And when I woke up from surgery, my surgery ended up being like almost 6 hours and 45 minutes, I believe, is
Oh
what
wow. Yeah.
the OR notes had said. And my doctor was like he was standing beside my bed when I woke up.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking, because the doctors don't be waiting on you.
No, they don't. They do not.
And I remember looking up and he was just crying and he was just holding my hand. And I was looking at him like, what's wrong with you?
Oh.
That's how I always woke up out of surgery. I think you'd be so
Going
high.
on?
What's wrong with you? Like, oh, you look so serious. What's going on? So he said he don't know how I walked in there.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I do not understand how you walked in here.
Oh
He
wow.
said he left one over, which he wasn't supposed to do. He was supposed to take all of it. That's what he said he was doing when he did the hysterectomy.
Oh, okay. So he probably left one in hopes that maybe you might change your mind and it'll give you another.
No, he was leaving one ovary for the estrogen, not to put me in menopause.
Oh.
But I was pissed about it because you had already told me that the endometriosis feed off of estrogen, and I had a really
Why would you?
so why would you leave that one?
Oh my goodness.
But I love Dr. Godwin, so I didn't sue him, but they could have been a
Yes, that could have been, yeah. Lovely. Lovely.
So he said that the one ovary that was left, a mass had formed around the ovary and my bladder, and my intestines had wrapped around the mass.
Oh my goodness.
So what I was feeling was my insides being pulled around like it felt. That's how it felt. It felt like everything had been pulled out of place.
Oh wow.
Um,
And where did the blood come from? Was it from that ovary where it had formed around it?
I think the blood probably just was from the stuff being pulled around.
Oh.
I don't. And then, like when they did the hysterectomy, when they take your cervix, they sewed the top of your vagina, and they call it a vaginal cuff, so it looked like this at the top. So it'd be like this part right here be stitches. This would have been your cervix, this open to your uterus. So when you have a full hysterectomy and they take the cervix too, they close it up at the top. So instead of being open, it's closed at the top. So if it was trauma going on above the vagina,
it would okay.
Too, if the whole intestines had pulled around. So speaking of that, I ended up having to have 2 more procedures just for them to cut more inches off my vagina because I kept having bleeding after a hysterectomy. So I had a trauma, which is the blood-filled cyst that had literally formed on top of the vaginal cuff later, even after the surgery, and it was still bleeding inside.
So when you say cut the vagina, do you mean the inner parts of the vagina?
No, that was cutting like 1 inch off the top. Like,
oh, wow.
Because when they do the incision, if the stitches burst open, they have to cut it a little bit to sew it back down again. And every time that was going in, even after this surgery, because you would have thought that would have had to be my last surgery, but no. So, mind you, I told you my intestines wrapped around the mass. So I kept having issues when I would eat. I kept having issues with feeling like glass being stabbed up my rectum. when I
Okay.
would use the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Like the intestinal, I was still having intestinal issues and I still was having like right side pain. So a lot of times when I was having pain, I would have pain from my shoulder all the way down on my right side. Even if I had surgery and most of the trauma was on my left side,
Mhm.
all the pain would feel like it was on my right side.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
what's the phenomenon behind it.
Mhm.
So even when I was in basic training, I used to tell them my shoulder used to hurt all the time, but it was like a nerve pain. It wasn't like a muscle.
Okay.
So when I
Yes.
would be doing PT, and I remember I had complained about shoulder pain the same time I would complain about the cramping on my right side, and I would let them know like the whole right side is hurting. It hurt when I used the bathroom. They didn't want to believe the endometriosis was in my intestines, and they definitely didn't want to believe it was higher than it. So for a long time, I'm just complaining about my intestines. They just kept sending me to gastro doctors, and I had I don't know how
Mhm.
many colonoscopies and upper endoscopies. Like I done probably had every test known to man.
Oh, wow.
They was doing MRIs, CT scans, PET scans. Like I done had all of them.
Mm.
So after that surgery, I ended up I kept having like these chest spasms. Like
Mm.
it felt like what people describe a heart attack as.
I know what you're
So
talking about.
like it will feel like it's pulling. It will pull for
Mhm.
like a minute or two straight, but you can't talk. You can barely breathe when it's
Mhm.
pulling. So I was having them randomly. Oh no, I can't skip over that. 2013,
Mhm.
the surgery with the emergency surgery
Restraining?
after the hysterectomy.
Okay.
That happened with August because he put me in surgery that very next week
Yeah.
after the interview.
Yeah.
Ella was born September the 8th of
Yes.
2013.
Oh,
I
wow.
wasn't planning on getting a child. I didn't know her mama was doing drugs pregnant. I didn't know her mama child was gonna be taken
Oh,
because I'm with
wow.
my cousin.
Yes.
So I get a phone call September the 12th. I get a phone call from my cousin Sarah
Mhm.
asking me to get this baby. She was like, they took the baby. They took the baby. I'm like, what is she talking about? Shay had her baby. Now, mind you, this how much I hadn't seen Shay because I didn't even know she was in the hospital giving birth. The last
Yes.
time I had seen her is when I had that second emergency surgery. She hadn't been back to the house. So I was just like, what you mean they took the baby? She was like, can you get her? I can't get her. I got a charge. Can you get her? And I was like, huh? Like, I'm
Mm.
still healing up from this emergency surgery. And having two back to back is a longer healing time now. Um,
Yes.
so I had just started like getting out the house
Mm.
around this time. And I remember I was like, hold on, let me call my mama and my aunt. So I
Mhm.
called my mama and I called my aunt to raise me. And I was like, if I get this baby, will y'all help me raise
Yes. They
it?
go that village.
They said yes, and it was up. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, sign me up. Right.
Oh,
Really.
wow.
But I remember because my aunt was a foster parent and I had seen how kids struggle with having visitation and their parents not showing up and the disappointment and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I remember
Mhm.
telling Shay, I was like, if you don't go to these classes and do what you're supposed to do to get this baby back, I will adopt her and she will be mine. I told her that from day one.
Oh, wow.
So it took about a month and a half because they had already sent her into foster care. She was already with a foster parent by the
Oh,
time they called
wow.
me. So it took a month and a half. Me and my mama had to go through the drug testing, the background checks, and all of that stuff with DSS to get Ella. And we got her. I was moving into the house I just sold on 114.
Oh wow.
I was because that's the house I grew up in. So it was my aunt's house. She had bought a new house. My grandmother had passed away. So she didn't want to stay in the same house.
Mm-hmm.
So I was already planning on moving in the house. She was getting the painters to repaint and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, I'd rather rent out to you. So if you're in pain or you fall behind, you won't get kicked out or nothing like that from having, the surgeries and being sick. So I had just moved in that house. Empty too, girl. I remember having a futon. And the crazy thing, that was you just seeing how big the house was. It was
Yes.
I was so scary. I was staying in the room downstairs. That was my grandma's old room, and I had a futon. And where the salon part was at was where the living room was at for me.
Okay.
I wasn't really utilizing the rest of the house. I ain't had no money to furnish the rest of the house.
He's like, I'm gonna stay right here.
Yeah, we stand. And then what was even crazier, one of my good friends had a bad robbery happen at her house, and she needed me to get her teenage boys.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got 2 teenage boys and a baby cousin.
Oh wow. Okay.
And they loved it. They loved Ella. Ella don't even remember them now.
Yes.
And I remember I used to be so scary. I don't know why. God done definitely delivered me, but I couldn't stay in the house by myself. My first apartment, I used to put the living room couch against the door.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I was always scared. I would call my mom and keep up plenty of nights reading the Bible to me.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Verse, read Psalm 23 or Psalm 31. I'm still scared. You gonna stay on the phone? But so when in that house, I got Ella. I was just talking to my ex-husband at the time. We was just friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he thought I was crazy for getting a baby.
Why?
I guess because of my medical stuff. I don't know. But he was like, you ain't got no kids. Like, why would you just up and get a baby? Because that's how it was. It was like literally overnight. Like, you just made this decision and boom, went through the 8 months of pregnancy. I ain't had no baby shower, no nothing.
Oh wow.
So, I was still in the military at the time. I remember the overflow of gifts was crazy.
Oh wow.
All my sergeants was bringing like boxes and boxes of diapers and wipes. I remember not having to buy nothing for Ella until she turned 2.
Oh, what?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mama, my aunties and uncles, like everybody just like flooded me with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was gifted like a bedroom set for her. So me and him started dating seriously because at that point I wanted a balanced family. I didn't want her to have to grow up with separate parents and separate households. That was my And then I felt like I had been living in sin long enough. So I felt like I was correcting my wrongs.
Yeah, you like
jumping in the relationship and jumping into marriage because it happened so fast. It was like boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
Like, I don't even think I was dating him for 6 months before he moved in. Then I had dumped him in like 4 months because he got caught up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took him back and he proposed in like 3 months and we was married in 7.
Oh, wow. So that was pretty quick and fast.
Yeah, it was very quick. And I remember when I first got her, me and Burrell was my best friend before Asia was my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
So Burrell is Bertha's son. This is Bertha's gonna follow me the whole life.
Say Bertha's still there.
Bertha's still there. Even though now it's her son. It ain't like I still went to Bertha house and I still used to go check on Burrell and support his music and stuff. So we started dating Asia, and Asia, me and Asia could relate because Asia's very crafty. They younger than me.
Yes.
But Asia love crafts and stuff, and I love crafts. And I remember Asia asking me to be her best friend, and I was just looking like, huh? She's like, you want to be our best friend? She's very direct. She's little, but she got a lot of bark and bite with her. So like, okay. She's like, we want to be her godparents. So I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
So they didn't have their own kids yet. They became Ella's godparents, and they put together this cute little book. If I wasn't living out of boxes right now, I would show y'all. They put together her first photo album and did her first little photo shoot.
Oh, tank.
Yeah, so Ella happened, but I still was having surgeries.
Yeah. Oh, even after that. So was it still like consuming the blood still coming out?
I was still bleeding after the hysterectomy until I think it was 2 more surgeries after that did I stop having a bleeding.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm in this relationship that I done shotgun. It's stressful. He's verbally aggressive. Mm-hmm. In case Ella have to watch this. He's verbally aggressive. Yeah. He still had trauma he had to deal with.
Yes.
Life just be life, and I ain't even
yeah.
It was rough though. It was rough.
Yeah.
I was having surgery and I would be sick. And this man, I still was holding the house down.
Oh wow.
Because I was working from home. So the salon was downstairs. And at this point, by the time we got married, I had already like made a salon downstairs. Because I understood that I was having surgery and I couldn't afford to keep paying booth rent.
Yes.
So I was working from home downstairs. I had to put Ella in daycare. So Ella started daycare like 3 months.
Oh wow! So she was a little tank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I was still working, and I kept having the intestinal issue. So the intestinal issues start becoming like the forefront of everything first before I start realizing how bad the chest pain and stuff was getting.
Oh, wow. So did the chest pains come with what was going on with your intestines and everything?
Oh, every time I would hurt, all of it would hurt together.
Oh,
like the shoulder pain, the right side, and the intestines. And I was having bleeding in my intestines. That's why they kept doing the colonoscopies and stuff.
Oh wow, yes.
So, I kept going to, like, they just bounced me around from doctor to doctor. They didn't want to believe it was the endometriosis. They was treating me for IBS. That wasn't working. So it took a lot to hone down on like what was really going on for them. I knew what it was.
Oh,
I was telling them all along, like, when I have my cramps is when I had a pain. When I'm not cramping, I don't have blood in my stool. When I'm not cramping, I don't have a shoulder pain. So, now mind you, they thinking like she done had a hysterectomy. She shouldn't be having this much pain. So at one point,
they was thinking they solved the issue. They was thinking that they solved the issue, but the more and more you had more pain, and then it was like, well, I guess we got to go back in and try something new.
Yeah. So Dr. Godwin, he ended up going back in again. Same thing. This is the worst I've ever seen. That's all I kept hearing. This is the worst I've ever seen. This is the worst case of endometriosis I've ever seen. I had started trying to find like the endometriosis doctor. It's a Dr. Andrew Cook. I did a consultation with him, but that surgery would have been $80,000 out of pocket.
Oh my goodness.
Endometriosis specialists only take cash. Like they don't take insurance.
Oh wow.
They have the worst issues with getting insurance to cover it because they see it as because of the hormones and stuff they put you on, they put it in a category of fertility.
Wow.
Yeah. So I kept trying to, find better help, but I was running into like brick walls with it. It was a doctor in Georgia, Dr. Cameron is that same thing. He looked over my file. They usually do like a free consultation, or the consultation is on like $200, and they do it like on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
So all of the doctors kept telling me the same thing. Now, mind you, at the time, I was still in the military, and I'm still trying to run the hair vixens and still trying to juggle a failing marriage. So I ended up having I think I had one more surgery right before me and Ernest split. And that was like, I started having gallbladder issues.
Oh wow. So it was stick
So,
to other parts of your body.
yeah, so I was getting,
Mm.
that nausea feeling that people describe when they have a failed gallbladder. So they
Mm-hmm.
basically tested my gallbladder and was like, well, it's not failing, but it's operating kind of low. So we're going to go ahead and take it out.
Mm-hmm.
So when they went in to take it out, it had endometriosis on that, endometriosis on my liver.
Ooh.
And that doctor went in with the gynecologist. They cleaned up the scar tissue again, um, and pulled out of the surgery. So, boom. Now, mind you, scar tissue on the liver. Remember that. We go a couple of years. We go
Mm-hmm.
a couple more years, and then um, the intestines not getting no better. But now I'm getting the chest pulling pains, and
Mm-hmm.
the episodes was happening with me now being divorced and having Ella by myself in the house by myself. So I was trying to ignore it because I go on doctor strikes. Like they pissed me off so bad, I'll go like a year without going to the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to the doctor only because my aunt was very concerned. I ended up having an episode over her house, and my uncle seen me. And my
Mm-hmm.
uncle had never seen me in pain. Like out of all these surgeries, he had never seen me actually in pain. He probably seen me like right after I came out of pain.
Yeah.
A lot of times I would go to the bathroom and suffer in silence.
Yeah.
Like I had a routine. I would run
Mm.
cold water on my hands. I would put the hamper in between my legs with a pillow, and I would just squeeze the pillow I would put one hand up underneath the sink, and with the other hand, I would be squeezing a pillow to
Mm.
try to get some type of relief. But I was having like bad anxiety. The pain was so bad. I would get sweaty palms too. Because it's like nothing you can do once that pulling pain start. All you can do is wait for it to stop.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it will go for like 30 minutes to an hour straight sometimes longer than that.
Mm.
I would just be miserable, like just miserable. And my mom, she would fix me ginger tea to try to relieve. My mom would try to pull out all the stops. You hear me? The church that I'm a member of, my Pastor Ian, his mom,
Mhm.
Marjorie, used to work with my mom. She used to fix me these cute little watermelon fruit baskets, and she would
Mhm.
cut them into shapes. So it'd be the
Oh,
whole, like the watermelon would be the bowl and all the cute shapes with the toothpicks with the like edible arrangements, but 10 times better.
oh, wow.
I remember I was so spoiled. Like I get most people that have chronic pain
Mhm.
have anger issues when they in pain.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be like angry or what like I hit somebody, but I would have an attitude.
Yeah.
So anybody like my sister, one of my stepsisters used to always come and bring me food. Like Joy Tokyo was always my favorite. I still eat it.
Mhm.
So people would bring me stuff I like to try to help soothe the
Soothe the pain. Yes.
pain.
That's thoughtful.
Awful. It's awful because I got my Skittle and Sprite habit because of it too. But for some reason, when I'm in pain, I crave the worst foods.
Yeah.
So when they had the chest pain, so they sent me to do the VA sent me because I got out in 2015
Mhm.
because they told me that I was on long term narcotic use. So when they had the narcotic epidemic about opioids with
Yeah.
doctors prescribing medicine, the VA made it to where you have to have a 30-day script to not piss hot, like to not have a bad drug test. So now you going from I was on as needed. So now you put me on every 30-day morphine and dilaudid so I don't piss hot for the military. Even though I wasn't taking the medicine, they was like, "Oh well, you got long term narcotic use. You have to be on this medicine, so we'll have to put you out." But it ended up helping me because it's considered medical.
Yeah.
So it ended up helping me for my disability case.
Yes.
At the time, I was pissed because I didn't want to get out.
Yeah.
So I got out in 2015. They end up sending me to the VA in Columbia to do, I think it was a PET scan. And when they did the PET scan, it looked like my liver had a tumor.
Oh.
So then they sent me to Duke.
And Duke's supposed to be the top of the top.
Not for endometriosis.
Oh, wow.
So they sent me to Duke thinking now that I have a tumor issue. Now, this is something that became very much a regular thing. Like every body part that I end up having problems with endometriosis, like they told me I had an enlarged heart at one time, ended up not being true. So they sent me to this liver doctor thinking I got a tumor on my liver. And I'm scared at this point because I really hadn't had any issues outside of endometriosis. Like everything that I had an issue with was stemming from endometriosis. So I had this doctor. He go in. Now, mind you, I'm describing to them that my doctor said I got endometriosis. Worst case I've ever seen. My doctor said if you look on my operative notes that I had endometriosis on my liver when they took my gallbladder out. My doctor said,
"Oh wow!"
You get what I'm saying? So
yeah,
every time I went to a new doctor, it would be like explaining everything all over again. And them thinking you don't know what you're talking about when you're going through these surgeries. I read all my operative notes. I know exactly what they find when they go in there because I read them. If I didn't know the terminology, I Googled it.
Yes.
And found out what the terminology meant. So I remember when I went to Duke, I remember being so frustrated because I'm telling the doctor, like every doctor I went to, including the doctor, and now mind you, I'm explaining to him who Andrew Cook is. I'm explaining to him who Cameron Nazat is. He's like, "Oh, I studied a study that Cameron Nazat did. He's a very good doctor. He's very knowledgeable." I'm telling you what this man said about my case.
Yeah.
And you still, I had a patient that had 13 surgeries before you. I know what I'm doing. I'm confident. He was super cocky.
Oh, wow. You know, it's some of them like that, though.
And I'm up here like, I'm going to wake up and he's going to say, it was nothing I could do. I already
Yeah.
So I wake up.
And he said
mind you, they trying to make it easier. Yeah. So they send the liver doctor and the gynecologist in together.
Yeah.
They try not to have to do 2 surgeries.
Oh, wow.
So the liver specialist, I wake up. No, I wasn't even divorced at that surgery. We were still together at that surgery. So I wake up. My mama looked pissed. This surgery was in North Carolina. My mama looked pissed. My ex-husband looked pissed. And I'm up here like, oh, shoot. What's wrong?
Yeah, like what's
like mama looked pissed like she want to hit somebody pissed. Mama don't even look like that when she wakes up. Usually she happy that I don't woke up. Baby. So what ended up happening was they pulled the liver thinking they about to find a tumor. It was a hole in my diaphragm and the liver had grew in the hole. So the piece that was looking like a tumor was the liver growing into the hole because the liver expands like it grows. So they pulled the liver out. I almost lost me because I'm losing air at this point. So they pushed the liver back in and closed me up.
So they didn't even fix the problem?
No. Because a thoracic surgeon is needed for the diaphragm, not just the liver.
Oh, wow. So did you have to go through another process of going to another doctor?
Now, mind you, it took me a year to get that surgery.
Oh
in pain.
wow.
So the doctor he was just looking out stupid. I was just looking at I was grilling him too, like I told
Too cocky, and you don't know what you're doing still.
you.
Yeah.
So my mom had got mad because my ex-husband had went off on the doctors. Because men already don't handle hospital wells, but you
Yeah.
telling a man that you almost lost his wife and y'all didn't fix the issue.
Yeah.
So he went off. My mama didn't like it, So that was already now, mind you, this surgery I drove myself
Oh my, what?
to Durham, North Carolina,
Oh
which is about
my.
5 hours with traffic.
Oh my.
Because my mama, for her to be off to be at the surgery. Now, mind you, all the surgeries I'm having, my mama having to take off work. So for her
Yeah.
to be off, she had to work late the night
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
So she couldn't drive. My ex-husband caught a cramp an hour into driving, and I drove on pain medicine in pain.
Oh my goodness.
Yep. That's when I knew.
It's over. It's
So
over. And I just know it's
it
over.
wasn't over right then, but it ended up being over.
Yes.
But it was like I remember being a lot of stress. And stress, me and stress does
Mm-hmm.
not like it peaks my pain level up a whole
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
it's like I didn't even realize how fragile I was until like over the years of realizing, okay, if I'm stressed, my pain start hitting me immediately. I might end up back in surgery. Like I can't afford it.
Yes.
So fast forward, we went. It took me another year to find a thoracic surgeon that was willing to do the surgery. Nobody wanted to touch me
Mm. Jesus. I
because
guess it's so
thoracic is
complicated.
very, your diaphragm can kill you. I mean, it just is what it is. So
Mhm.
it took a while to find somebody that wanted to even deal with my case.
Oh wow.
So I ended up finding a thoracic and gastro doctor. Now, mind you, I'm still having gastro pain. So now my next surgery is a gastro bladder doctor, urinologist. Let's call them by their name.
Yeah.
Um, they had a thoracic surgeon, uh,
Hmm.
oncologist, like the cancer doctor,
Hmm.
and who else I had to have in there? I think they just had a general surgeon in there as well, and their assistants. So with
Yes.
surgery, I'm all hands on deck.
Hmm.
They try to fix. I had nodes in my colon, so it's gonna sound like a lot because it was a lot. This stuff was happening like together.
Yeah.
So I kept having problems with my stool and bloating really bad. So say this the colon. I had 3 sections where the endometriosis was poking through the colon.
Oh my
So the
goodness.
stool couldn't fully pass, which kept causing bleeding, kept
Hmm.
causing internal hemorrhaging is what they call it.
Oh
Um
wow.
and it was in 3 different spots. It was like a spot up by the small intestines, a spot right by my rectum, and then like another spot close to the one that like right behind where my vagina was. Like
Hmm.
right where my vagina was. So um first he was just cleaning up tissue. So he didn't catch the nose when I had the mesh put. So they put a mesh over the hole in the diaphragm
Hmm.
and never checked on it again, by the way.
Oh wow. You're right.
Yeah, they ain't never checked on it again. So
How many years had it been?
now my last surgery was 4 years ago, so that one probably was about 6 or 7.
Good gracious.
So they put the mesh over the hole. They tried to clean up because I still had endometriomas. They still was finding ovarian tissue. They were still finding the endometriomas for some reason. One likes to place itself right at my rectum behind
Mm-hmm.
the vagina, so it's the blood filled cyst.
Oof.
So
And even when they remove it, it's they still just come
they
back.
come back
Oh
doing
wow.
what they want to do. So The last surgery I had was the intestines. So the man was supposed to. He told me I would potentially have to have a bag, but I woke up and didn't have one. So I was thinking like, well, he didn't have to cut,
Amen.
but he did. He cut out 3 sections and didn't give me a
Mm.
bag.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I ended up in the hospital the
Hmm.
next year with blood clots coming from my anus,
Oh my
and my
goodness.
stomach was extremely hot. And I basically cured myself to get out of there because it was during COVID.
Oh wow.
Like my stomach was hot to touch. It was crazy because it happened out of nowhere, and I just kept bleeding out my intestines. I could drink water, and the water was coming through that. It was like it was weird. So, um, they test me for diverticulitis, ulcerative colitis, all of that stuff, and was getting nothing back. Like I wasn't testing positive for none of that stuff.
Oh wow.
So I finally just asked the lady for an ice pack for my stomach because it was so hot.
Hmm.
And she asked the doctor to switch me off of morphine and put me on Tramadol, which Tramadol usually don't work for me for pain, but it
Hmm.
did for that because it worked for inflammation.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
that start regulating my pain. Um, but we never found out they had me on a no. I was on no food the first day. The second day they put me on only liquids, and then they put me on blends. The fourth day they let me go home.
Oh wow.
But they never found out what the issue was. But fast forward to last year when I was supposed to have surgery,
Hmm.
because I the year before last I was having black stool. I had went 2 weeks without using the bathroom at all. I put myself on a fruit fast.
Hmm.
After the fruit fast, I started it started flushing me out.
Okay. Yes.
Um, but when I was eating, I still like I could feel my food going through. It was struggling to get through. And
Mm.
I wasn't having regular bowels like I usually do. So they said that the by my small intestines is shaped like a S, which is still like that. My intestines had connected to my vagina in 2 places, on the
Mhm.
vaginal cuff and behind the vagina, and it's fibrosis that's connecting, which is real hard scar tissue. It's
Mhm.
connecting the intestines to the
Oh
vagina.
wow.
So that's still like that. Um, but I started fasting. Me and my best friend Brandy
Yes.
started fasting every Wednesday, starting March of last year. And when I went to that doctor, which I told y'all in church, I went to the doctor a week before, 2 weeks before the surgery was supposed to be scheduled in October. And he told me I ain't have to do the surgery. But I would have had to have a colonic bag for
Hmm.
10 weeks. And then I would have had to have another surgery that was going to cut like my whole large intestines out. And I would have had to have another surgery to take the colonic bag out.
Hmm.
And he was like, the side effects of that to him was more severe. I had stopped eating red
Hmm.
too in March of last year,
Yeah.
and I ended up not having to have surgery. And
Amen. Yes. Yeah.
now I rarely have intestinal pain. I'll get it every now and again, but
Hmm.
I haven't really been having it as bad. So I
Yeah.
can only equate that to God because
Amen. I'm trying to tell you because.
I can only equate that to God because the amount of pain, and I just didn't feel like I remember feeling like that surgery probably would have been my last one, like it would have took me out of here. I remember not wanting to have that surgery.
Oh wow.
So when I took, and I remember I ended up driving because that was in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I ended up driving up there by myself.
Yes.
Um, but it was meant to happen that way. I remember feeling like so much peace, and I was just like, you know what, it is what it is. If I have to have the surgery, it just got to be what it's got to be. So at that appointment, he was scoping me. So he scoped me the same day, awake, like they put the
Mhm.
scope up. the look.
Yeah,
He said he didn't see any tears, any redness or inflammation, any bleeding. He didn't see nothing when he did the scope. And I had just been scoped.
Oh wow.
So
So he didn't see anything.
he didn't see
Come
anything.
on.
He was like, it's no, if you had been, he said, if you had been torn, if it looked like the scope couldn't get through or anything like that, I would have still said surgery. But he was like, he didn't see anything. So he canceled the surgery.
Amen. Don't make me get out of my seat and get to shouting.
Yep.
Jesus.
So I believe the fasting worked. Like,
Amen.
I still have like little small things and stuff.
Yes.
Not nearly where it was at. Not nearly at all.
Amen. So how many days did y'all fast?
We fast every Wednesday.
Every week. So y'all still fasting. Okay. Yes. Okay.
6:00 in the afternoon.
Amen. Adding that time in with God and actually strategically playing and having a prayer partner to join in forces with you that have the same faith.
Yeah, and she was already doing it. I added on to them.
Okay, you added on.
But she said some of the other people was fasting from other things, but I don't know. Growing up, my mama, we fasted when I was growing up. So I just
fasting really helped. Fasting, it does what it works. No matter how many times people say this, fasting really does help, and it really does work. It's putting that time, that dedication, or whatever it is that you need before the feet of Jesus, and turning down your plate at the same time. So it really does honestly work, and I'm just so thankful and so grateful that to go into what you just been through, because that's severe. That's a lot.
Yeah, so it was 10 surgeries total.
10 surgeries total. And surely more doctors than you can even name. And I'm telling you, I understand. I know you was tired of going to doctors, because sometimes I have got to where I have been tired of going to doctor after doctor, different doctors for this, different doctors.
I kind of feel like my doctor strike is the reason why I'm still. I feel like they just would have kept.
Okay.
And now Dr. Godwin did get to the point to where he was like he was not going to cut on me anymore. That's when I had to find another doctor. But yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. So Amy, you said my doctor strike is why I'm okay.
My doctor strike. Just like I took myself off that Ritalin and that seizure medicine. Same.
Yes.
I had to take myself out of them hospitals because they'll just keep
on trying to solve an issue that they couldn't even solve. And now we are not telling nobody not to take their medicine, because I know sometimes y'all would twist it. Y'all would twist it.
It's not medical advice. It's my story. Not
that's her story. She's not telling you to do that. So you can't say Konisha Harris told you to do that. That's not what it is. I'm just so oh wow, this is just.
But I was like, God was so great, because I was able to still build my brand. Like I still was able to build a hair business this whole time. Still was able to keep building clientele after every surgery.
Yes, and that's why it is the strength of a woman. The strength of a woman is truly who you are. And the even amazing thing that I thought about when I thought about you and listening to your story, and even when you shared about with Ella, and even having to have a hysterectomy, but even though you had a hysterectomy, but every single time that you give birth to other things, it's still babies that God allowed you to birth. So maybe it wasn't a physical baby, but he still gave you the anointing to be able to birth babies physically through businesses, through visions that you have. It's still birthing. Yeah. Oh yeah, you still
yes. I meant to tell y'all Ella's name, because that's not the name her mama gave her.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay,
Ella, my grandmother's name was Ella Mae.
Okay.
McKinney, And I named Ella after my grandmother because I told y'all, she told me that God was going to bless me with a child. So Ella named us Ella Elizabeth because Elizabeth means God's promise. I named her
Come
Ella
on.
after my grandmother. So yeah,
Amen.
that's where her name came from.
Amen.
Yeah.
Isn't that so beautiful? That is truly beautiful. And you said she spoke it, and what she spoke it truly
And
did.
you might mind you, my grandmother passed before Ella was here. So
Oh
didn't even
wow.
get to, yeah, she didn't get to meet her. But
Oh wow.
she told me, she was like, I promise you, baby, God gonna bless you with a child.
Oh wow. And he did just what he said he
'Cause
was
I used
going
to
to.
cry. Oh, I used to cry to my grandma when they was talking about them hysterectomies. I used to cry about it. I always wanted to be a mama. I
Oh
always
yes. Oh wow. And you are just what you wanted to be. That's why I say, surely, even in your pain, God heard your
look,
tears.
look. And when she get on my nerves, I be like, but I signed up for it, Lord. Okay. It hit
Hey.
different when you signed up for it, it hit different. It wasn't no slip up pregnancy. It was, I went through that.
Uh-huh. Hey, understood.
Like, dang, get on my nerves. I signed them papers.
Hey, sometimes they do get on our nerves. Hey. And that is understood. That is
But she's
understood.
spoiled. She's spoiled by everybody.
Yes. Yes. And she's sweet too. She's a sweet, young, beautiful young lady. And is there anything else that you wanted to say before we go ahead and close it out for the night?
No, if anybody got questions, they can ask me. If anybody have like endometriosis stories, feel free to inbox me. My new venture, my new career path
Tell us about it.
is to finish my bachelor's degree. So I'm in school now, finishing my bachelor's, so I can do the accelerated nurses program to get my RN to go and work underneath the endometriosis specialist to be able to help
Yes.
other women that struggle with the same thing.
Yes.
Because if I could give anybody a piece of advice that struggles with endometriosis, it feels like hell. I know it do. It feels like the worst thing ever. But those surgeries, I feel like it just made it worse and worse and worse. The more surgeries I had, the more scar tissue that's gonna build up naturally from you healing. And then the
Yes.
endometriosis makes scar tissue. So it's like it's not making it better. Um, I would try the natural route, like full fledged. Full
Mm.
fledged. Like it's the hardest thing, but endometriosis craves sugar. It feeds off of it. It feeds off of hormones. So trying a lot of different birth controls to me is not the best answer all the time
Mm-hmm.
because it like if your hormones are thrown off, you get what I'm saying? Like I would
Oh,
try
yeah.
natural things and it's stuff like burdock root, marshmallow root. It's different types of herbs that you can get at like Garner's and stuff and natural herbal teas that can help you a whole lot more. Castor oil on the stomach and the castor oil wraps. It like and I remember when I was going through it, I was like, I want to try that. I'm already in pain. Like, but if you know, like if you know your body is listen to your body. Cause for me, I love spaghetti, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Red sauce does me so bad. No, I'm serious. Like it was making my cramps worse. It's something about red and endometriosis fibroids.
Mm-hmm.
I talked with this Asian doctor that retired and now he makes herbal medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying it's something in the color red that does not agree with women with feminine issues. Like if you have endometriosis, fibroids, PCOS, all of that stuff, they say not to like the it's something in red, like even watermelon, like anything red that just irritates you more. And
Oh
I had started
wow.
noticing that, like when I would eat watermelon, I was cramping up. I'm like, God, I'm eating fruit, like I'm thinking I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing the right thing. When I eat red sauce, I cramp up. Like it's certain things, soy, flax seeds, flax, period are things that they tell you to avoid.
Oh
And
wow.
to circle back to my childhood story, they are now saying that they feel like childhood trauma is causing people to have endometriosis and PCOS. Most women that have a lot of feminine issues have a lot of childhood trauma. So mind you,
Mm-hmm.
I moved back with my mom at 9 years old. It was a traumatic change. I started my period at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Bleeding. So you have to think about that too. Really healing yourself and getting deliverance really does help your body.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. Oh
This
yeah.
year has been such a better year for me. I done went through a lot of struggles. I
Mm-hmm.
sold my house. I am living with family right now. I restarted a business in a salon when I haven't worked in a salon since 2000 and before 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing healing and deliverance counseling with Pastor Robin. I started seeing a psychologist now. Like I go to therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and now my body is starting to feel better,
Mm-hmm.
which
Get
is
it
crazy.
out.
Like, so really
Mm-hmm.
releasing, letting go and let God for real can
Mm-hmm.
really help you. Because if you're holding on to traumas, we can hold on to traumas all the way back to when we were small kids. And it really affects your body and it
Oh
really affects
yes.
you. So a part of being
Yes.
completely healthy is completely getting healing for everything.
Yes. Amen to that. Ain't
Yeah.
that surely the truth? Um, that surely is the truth, and people don't realize how killing it is to be able to get all of the things that you experience and been through out of you and
Mhm.
learn how to go into a different path. And
Yep.
thank you for pointing that out and sharing that as well.
Yep. And they say a lot of women pain, like abdominal pain. If you struggle with a lot of abdominal pain, a lot of that comes from trauma from a man, whether it's daddy, uncle, cousin, or somebody that had influence on you. It doesn't have to be a current person that you with. Sometimes it goes all the way back.
Oh
So,
wow.
now, mind you, y'all heard me mention my mama a lot. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
it's just like you get what I'm saying. I had that trauma too of
Oh
absent
yeah.
father.
Yeah, and I could have. I think me and Apostle Smith had this conversation about even when they talked about her lupus, and when they talked about her lupus, they said that the reason why it affected her body in such the way that it affected is because she had childhood trauma, the things that she experienced as a child that affected her body. That's a true statement.
Yep. And the
Um,
statement of disease is you not being at ease. It's the very definition
mhm.
of what it is. You're not at ease. You're not at peace.
Oh wow. Yes.
Right.
Surely.
You said your body keeps the score.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And oh wow, I'm just excited that you were my guest tonight, and I appreciate everything that you said tonight, from start to finish. And Shirley, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you for sharing the things that you have been through. And Shirley, I will say it again, the title that was, and I just, that's what I had got, was the strength of a woman. And surely that is who you are, because to be able to endure all of the things that you endured and still be able to, like you said, you're still building your business and you're still creating brands and you're still doing other things that so many things that you do. You do a lot, and you do
So
and you do
ADHD might have been possibly the correct guy. No, just like
but no, I appreciate you because it teaches other people how to keep on going and know you can sustain through. Okay, I'm sorry. Did you say
you gotta
something?
keep yourself busy, but not too busy.
Yes.
The idle mind isn't good, but a lot of don't burn yourself out.
Yes. So find good balance.
Yeah.
Okay, find good balance. And I'm trying to think. Did you want to tell them your social media handles?
It's the hair vixens on everything. TheHehairVixens and Konisha Harris on Facebook.
Yes, y'all make sure you reach out to a lot of y'all were already inspired in the comment section. If you have some other questions to ask Konisha, y'all please do ask her. And we thank you and we appreciate you.
Thank you
And
for having me. This was fun. My first interview.
well, I was glad to have you. We had to have a talk with that when you were just telling me all the things that you have endured and all the things you have been through. I'm telling, I get excited. I get excited. And again, thank you every single one of y'all for tuning in tonight. And next month, I hope to see y'all next month, y'all. We will be celebrating 1 year. To be a 1 year anniversary coming up. I'm so excited about it. I don't have all the clear plans on what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it, but surely I know that it has to be something special because I'm excited for it and thankful about it at the same time. And again, we appreciate you again, Konisha. I know I probably already done said it several times, but we appreciate you for being the guest tonight on Soaring Above It All with Laquanza, who is me. And we are going to leave out on the outro. And it's soaring above it all. Soaring above it all. Yes, you are. Bye, y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.